The information that I'm going to reveal in this specific video might actually break the entire YouTube automation space. I'm going to be sharing the exact blueprint that I use myself in order to start automated channels like this one. It is going to be the full HC blueprint. I don't know how long this video is going to turn out. We will see. But for those of you that do not know what YouTube automation is, it is basically when you create this faceless channels. I don't reveal my identity at all in this specific channel, and you pretty much outsource the content production to either other people like freelancers or with the use of AI, right? That is pretty much exactly what I've done with this specific channel, and you can see it has earned me $100,000 in ad revenue, and I'm gonna get into this more later on, but it has actually earned me way more than 100 grand with external monetization, meaning the digital products that I've sold through the channel, affiliate marketing, sponsorships, all of that kind of stuff. But before anything else, I know that a lot of people in the comments are always like, oh, that's Brazilian real or some other currency than dollars. So I thought I would just prove this. I might have to zoom out a bit here. By changing the currency to, let's say, the new Taiwan dollar, which would be super inflated, $3.2 million. That would be nice, but it's not the truth. And then if I just go and change this back to US dollar, you can see that it's back at 100 grand. So 100 grand might not be too significant for a channel that has, 330,000 subscribers. But as I said, the real revenue and profit lies in the external monetization. That is where I shine. And I will show you more about this later on. And before we get into the walkthrough itself, I just want to show you the seriousness of what is actually going on with YouTube and AI behind the scenes. I just made a quick search here on Google Trends to show you guys what is actually going on. So I searched for YouTube automation, the search term that people might be Googling. And just to give you guys some context, a value of 100 would be the peak popularity for the keyword. In this case, it's had 10 for a very, very long time for the last 12 months. But if we actually see what is going on now, during just the last 2 or 3 months, there's a rapid increase of people and interest in YouTube automation. So we have been early on to this business model for so long. If you would look at the dropshipping graph, it would actually be declining since that business model is kind of dying out. But YouTube automation is still on the come up, especially now that AI is getting so good. So if you are early on and you actually listen to what I have to say in this specific video and you implement all of these steps that I'm gonna show you step by step, you might be sitting on a whole lot more money than you actually think. Like, I can even change this here to past 5 years, and you will see the insane trend that we're seeing right now with people kind of finding out about YouTube automation. Now, I've been doing YouTube automation for a few years, and I can tell you that there is not a better time to get into this business model than now. So let's actually get into the blueprint itself. So I mapped out the entire plan for how to start a channel. I'm gonna follow through with this live in front of you guys so that you can see every single thing and thought process that I come by. Now, I'm gonna be very transparent and say that I will sell you something. It's not gonna be now, it is going to be at the end of the video. I'm gonna properly disclose before I do actually sell you anything. And I can promise you that if you do watch the entire video and all of the value that I've packed into it, you will be very happy to actually hear what I had to offer you. But I'm just kind of fed up with all of these guys and gurus on YouTube that try to kind of weave it into their content or kind of trick you into buying something that they offer, providing you with a bunch of false value. So I thought I would just be completely honest. I will give you everything that I know about YouTube. And at the end, if you are interested, I will offer you what I actually can help you with. So if you're allergic to that, I advise you to leave the video and knowledge that I'm gonna share to someone else who actually wants to, do this properly. And yeah, let's get into it. So the first step would be to just understand the different channel types. I've listed out a few of them here. These are the 4 most common types that you need to know of. And the reason why you should know this is simply, if you do not know how channels look that are like great faceless channels, then how are you supposed to do niche research? You simply won't be able to know what you're actually looking for. So the first kind of channel here would be the regular cash cow channels. I've highlighted regular cash cow and AI channels in bold text here, and that is simply due to the reason that those are the kinds of channels that you will have the highest chance of success with. They are quite cheap to start up and they're very easy to run. So I'm gonna show you an example of a regular cash cow channel here to just start off with. It's called The World Side, and as you can see, they make these kind of you know, based on just the thumbnail, it seems like they're making some videos about homeless people, or, you know, drug abuse cities, you know, abandoned parts of America, for example. Let's just take a very quick look at one of the most popular videos 10 months ago with 2.1 million views, right? Also, what's up, sorry to interrupt, but this is me from the future. I realized once recording this video that I just had planned a new live masterclass on Sunday the 24th of August. So if you are watching this video before the 24th of August 2025, definitely make sure to register for the webinar. Grab a ticket below. I'm going to be sharing everything that I know about Faceless YouTube live, where you can ask questions to me personally. I've never done this before and probably will never do it again. But this, like, I will share how I've made over $1.6 million with a single digital product store. I'm going to share how I done everything with how that I have done at only 21 years old. So definitely register. This is how the page looks. I'll put it somewhere in the description. And I'll hopefully see you there if you are granted a ticket. It's going to be real nice. So back to the video. Right, just some music, some B-roll showing like in real life videos. We scroll forward a bit.
Sonic City, home to approximately 7,182 homeless individuals, ranks as the 10th city with the largest homeless population in the US. While San Francisco is...
So I think you get the picture. I'm gonna get more into this later, but they basically just have a script, a voiceover, then they have a real editor that is sitting there putting together these clips, making these edits of whatever is being shown on the screen. They add some music to it, and boom, you have a faceless video that is able to get 2.1 million views, which I can guarantee you that this one video has generated them definitely, you know, over $10,000 in revenue from just this one video. So that is the regular kind of cash cow channel. It's very simple: footage, voiceover, script, boom, done, simple editing, and that is what they have. You can mix stock footage and you can mix this real life footage as they have. Stock footage will look more fabricated and the viewers won't like that as much. But if you do use real life footage as well, which is copyrighted, you have to add some kind of significant value to it in order to fall under fair use, right? But that is the first kind of channel. The second kind of channel would be branded channels. And the way to explain branded channels they're very, very similar to regular cash cow channels, except they have a little bit more effort put into them. They're slightly higher quality. For example, this one, 68,000 subscribers. You can see that they have many videos with over 2 million views. That is a very good job. But let's just take a look at one of the videos and you'll see what I mean.
This is Jimmer Fredette, a college basketball star who dropped 50-point games like it was nothing, set the Brigham Young record for most points scored in a single game, and was called the best scorer in the whole country by both Kevin Durant and President.
You can see it is very similar to the first example of a regular cash cow channel, but this one is slightly higher production value. That is essentially the only difference between these two channels. If we also go back to the homepage of the channel here, you can see that they follow a very distinct style with their content. Someone who has subscribed to this channel, they will immediately recognize this thumbnail and know that their favorite channel has uploaded. So with these branded channels comes higher production costs, since the videos are higher quality, but you also have a much more loyal audience and people that are genuinely interested in multiple of your videos, making your channel longer term. You can run this for a longer duration of time, years potentially, and still make a lot of money with them. So you kind of invest more, but you also have something that is going to be around longer than a crash and burn automation channel that is just made to grab some tens of thousands of dollars and then die out. So moving on to the next type of channel would be the complex channels. And I do not recommend any beginner to get into something like this. I simply want to show you guys that these exist and also give you some insight on how they're made so that you at least know of them. It's very good knowledge to have. But let's take a look. It's called Red Side. They got 800,000 subscribers. That is a lot. This is a very, very good channel. They are making, let's actually take a look at how much they're making. All right, so the revenue of this one channel is estimated to $11,000. I can guarantee that it's probably around $20,000 or something like that. These guys do get a lot of views. They don't upload as frequently anymore, probably due to the fact that the production cost is very, very high for this type of content. I'm going to show you an example in just a second. And the revenue might not make it worth it, you know. That is also why I do not recommend anyone to get into this, because you have to invest a lot of money to get it up and running before you even start seeing results. And then it's not as profitable as these AI channels or cash cow channels. But here's a video. As you can see, they do not have any kind of voiceover or script, so that is a positive thing. But at the same time, the animations and everything that you are seeing is 3D rendered. You need a very qualified 3D animation artist in order to create this content, and that itself will be very expensive. So while the team might be actually smaller for a channel like this, it's going to be a lot harder to find the talent, because 3D people aren't easy to find. And it's going to be way more expensive to just create, since 30 minutes of very advanced 3D scenery and animations, it's going to be expensive. So I would not recommend that you guys do get into this, but it's good to know that these channels do exist. Now, the last type of channel that I want to show are AI channels. These are kind of a new breed of channels that have emerged just the last year. People are really utilizing AI to make super profitable channels, since you know the margins are super high. If you're making your script with AI, your voiceover with AI, have very simple editing, as many of these AI channels have, then naturally it's going to be super profitable. If you make $10,000 in revenue, chances are that your costs are only below $1,000. That means $9,000 in profit. But let's take a look at one of these channels here. I found this one just now, the Old Guard Watch. A video that they posted 4 days ago has 611,000 views, meaning it is still very relevant. You can see that they are posting once per day, slightly 20-minute long videos. Let's take a look at the most viral one. Why not?
The soda can hit the pavement with a dull thud, splashing sticky liquid across the tomb guard's polished boots. The crowd at Arlington froze, their gasps cutting through the summer heat.
And you can see, like, this is purely AI. The script, I can guarantee you, is generated by AI. The voiceover is very clearly AI. An AI voice, a very common one. I might even find this one later on in the video. The editing is, like, believe it or not, you do not need to know how to edit to create this kind of content. You simply animate the images with AI that you have generated with AI, and then you just put them together in somewhat of a slideshow, and the video is done. There's no music. I don't think this guy has. So everything is just completely AI. Even the thumbnail, it just makes for a very efficient workflow. And you can post as much as these guys are doing with minimal effort, right? So let's see how much these guys have made in the last 28 days. Okay, just 4.2K. It's a fairly small channel still with only 15K subscribers. But since the production costs are very low, like these guys have taken home definitely more than 3K from just this one channel, which very easily can be automated, by the way. I'm actually going to show you guys step by step how you can create a channel like these ones that we have watched. Not only that, I will also reveal some very important tips and things that you can implement when posting your content to make sure that it gets the maximum reach possible. A lot of people overlook these small details, but they can actually make a very big difference. So make sure to continue watching for that. The next step in the blueprint would be to find the niche itself. And this is the issue that 99% of beginners face, and ultimately also what makes them fail when it comes to YouTube, since most people, they try to, or they don't even do proper niche research. They simply go onto YouTube, find a channel in 15 minutes that they think looks interesting without any data backing it up, and then they try to create the content. Even though they might be successful with creating the content, they then fail because the niche isn't getting any results. When in reality, if you do find a very high potential niche, you can go and get monetized in just 2 or 3 uploads, earning $15,000 in as little as 2 months, as some of our students are doing. So I have written new channel/guest browser here in the document. And what I mean by that is when you go onto the YouTube platform, you want to be on a preferably fresh channel that you have just created, in order to kind of, you don't want any previous history when it comes to you being on the platform, since then YouTube, the algorithm might be biased and you just get recommended a bunch of stuff that you have watched before instead of faceless channels that are actually performing. So a new channel is the best method. You can also go on a guest browser in order to not have any previous history. But keep in mind, usually when you do niche research, you won't find a niche in the first go. You might be having to visit the platform multiple times, and if you then have a guest browser, what happens is that every time you go onto the platform, the history will be reset, right? So you won't be able to continue off where you actually left. So a new channel is very good since it stores all of your history and data. So every time that you go onto the platform, you'll kind of continue where you left off. Because niche research is, believe it or not, one of the most important things that you will do. So you want to take it slow and not just pick the whatever first thing that you find. But I'm going to be doing it from this channel just for this example. I'm going to be using a tool that is called Nextlev. And Nextlev is actually a good tool. Keep in mind, it is paid. It is not something that you need to find a niche. But it can definitely help you save a bunch of time and kind of lead you in the right direction. I'm going to be using it for just this scenario. If you do want a tutorial on how to find niches without using Nextlev, I do have a tutorial on the channel just purely focused on niche finding. But let's go onto the platform here. You can see that since I do have the Chrome extension installed, I do have this little tab up here. By the way, if you do want to use the Chrome extension, I think my other channel, How to AI, does have a promo code that is How to AI 2. So it's How to AI and then just the number 2 afterwards. And you should get like 30% offers or something for life. Pretty nice. Anyways, when you do click on the tab here up in the screen, the Nextlev tab, you will see this. Before you actually open up that tab, you want to just scroll all the way down to the bottom, index all of these videos. You can see the new videos just pop up all the time. Eventually what will happen when you do scroll enough is that no more videos will pop up, right? It's gonna end like this. That is when you then open up the Nextlev tab here up in the top of the screen. And what you can do here is that you can filter all of the uploads for whatever metrics that you do want to filter them through. So I would do video upload dates, preferably quite recent if we can. You can also do total video views so that we see the, actually let's remove video upload dates. So we can see here the videos that have the most amount of views that appeared on my home screen. And usually what you'll see is that it is only from very, very big channels that always go viral and get tons of views. So what you actually can filter it for is subscribers versus view count. This means that you will be seeing channels that have very few subscribers, but that are getting a very relatively big amount of views compared to their subscriber count, right? And that is exactly what we do want. A good niche is a newly started channel with low subscribers, but that is going viral. So let's see here. We have Video by Humphrey here, 1.8k subscribers, 428,000 views. It is in the last 7 months that he posted this, so it is kind of old. I would not recommend that is the first-hand thing you would pick. So let's just continue scrolling here a bit. How a $20 game destroyed the entire industry. 5.2k subscribers, 1 million views. We'll get back to this later. I think this is a personal brand that is actually making these documentaries. So let's continue scrolling here. Let's see, Jalen Hurts exposed seems like a very distinct cash cow channel. Only 22,000 views, so we preferably want to find something with a little bit more, but that is definitely showing potential. Let's see here, the internet wasn't ready for iShow speed. 6.8k subscribers 2 months ago. That is a very good sign. This is a perfect example of something that has gone viral very recently and is a very small channel. Personal brand here. Let's see if we can find any more faceless channels. For example, this one, Nintendo is hiding 3D Mario. 7.4k views, that's not too good. Okay, so I found something very interesting here. It's called the Billionaire Chronicles, and they have a video with 381,000 views 4 weeks ago, 99k subscribers. And the title is, "This is the richest old money black family in America. The secrets they hide." So in the blueprint here, I have some criteria that you can just save down yourself and follow. Basically, what you want to strive after when doing niche research is a fairly new channel. It should be created in the past few months, preferably. It should have recent virality, meaning that any of the recent videos that they have posted has gone viral, shows that the channel is still active and still getting good results to this day. It should preferably have low subscribers, below 20,000. It can also be 50,000, 100,000. It's not that strict. And when I do talk about these criteria, keep in mind that it does not have to fill in every single criteria, right? Because then you're practically never going to find a channel unless you do niche research for hundreds of hours. So if you do find something that looks very attractive and fits most of the criteria, that is a very good thing. So you can kind of half-ass the other ones. But low subs, preferably. You want to have something that has gone viral multiple times, so it is not a one-hit wonder, meaning that they haven't just posted one video that went viral and then everything else is going to shit. For example, let's take let's see this one actually. See if you can see that they are getting very few views now on every single upload. Like, they are going viral occasionally, don't get me wrong, which is good. It's still a profitable channel, but they have a popular video with 2.1 million views and 1.2 million views, and all of these popular videos a long time ago, but during recent times they're not getting so many views anymore. So this is not a one-hit wonder, but they are not super relevant anymore, it seems. I can't tell you for sure since I just took a quick look. But just to paint up the picture for you, you want something that is performing well now. You also want something that has reached over 100,000 views, just showing you that there is demand in the content. If none of the videos have gone beyond 100k views, then there's not enough demand for the content to be posted. You won't really earn that much money, right? So you want something with over that. You want a US/Western target audience, meaning that if people are watching your content, for example, this one, Worldside, they are only making content about American cities. And this is a very strategical and a very good thing, in the sense that the only people that would watch this channel, or the majority of people that would watch this channel, are from the US. So if they only have Western or US people watching this channel, then that will significantly increase their RPM, meaning that they earn a lot more money from the current views that they're getting, simply due to the fact that their viewers are from the US as well. If you compare 1 million views from only Indian people, for example, and 100,000 views from only US old people, then you will earn more money with those 100,000 views from US people than that million views with third world country viewers. Since if you do think about the logic behind it, YouTube wants people to buy stuff from the ads that they show, because then the brands that pay for the ads, they get very happy since their ads are performing well, and they are willing to pay YouTube more. So if you have an audience that is generally has a very good economy and they buy a lot of stuff, then the brands will pay YouTube more to show ads on your channel. And if you think about the way that you actually earn this money from YouTube ad revenue, is that they charge the brands for the ads, let's say $100, you get 45% of that, so you get $45, and they take $55. So the more they earn, the more you earn. That is why you want a US audience. I'm also gonna reveal another tip later on in this video that has to do with the RPM. So you can basically double or triple your RPM very easily. It's a simple strategical fix. I'm gonna get to that later though. But yeah, you want a US Western audience, as I mentioned, and you want to think, is this realistic for you? Like, can you recreate this content with most AI and regular cash cow channels? Yes, of course you can. It's very simple. Would you need to use any freelancers for regular cash cow channels? You would preferably need a freelancer for the editing, but for AI channels you can basically do everything yourself or just outsource it to a virtual assistant. I'm gonna get to that later. Does it fit your budget? For example, regular cash cow channels, you can expect anywhere from $20 to $70 per video, depending on length, of course, and complexity of the editing. So it is very affordable. Does it fit your budget? What upload frequency does the channel have? Can you match that? Because when it comes to YouTube, you want to always match what your competitors are doing. So if they are uploading once per day. You preferably want to match that and upload once per day on your new channel, or at least do something very similar. Otherwise, how are you realistically going to compete with them, right? If they are doubling down the work that you're doing, it's not going to work. And you also want to factor in the upload length, because that significantly affects the budget. If they are only posting 1 hour videos once per day, then that's going to be quite expensive for you to create, since a 1 hour video is 5 times more expensive to create than a 5-minute video or a 10-minute video. So those are the criteria that you want to follow. Let's actually take a look at if they fit the Billionaire Chronicles. So let's go on to the channel, the Billionaire Chronicles. Let's first check out if they are getting any good views. 1 day ago 6.5k, 1 day ago 9.8k. Let's see anything else. 8 days ago 234k views. That is very good. Popular videos, they have multiple videos with over 1.5 2 million views. Also very many videos with 400k views. This is a very successful channel. Good job to them. But let's just quickly compare them with the criteria here. Let's see when it was started. So they seem to have started 1 year ago. That is not the best when it comes to the criteria. If I'm going to be completely transparent, you want something that is recently created. But due to the fact that these guys are still getting views to this day and are still uploading, that kind of weighs out that the channel was created 1 year ago. So we can consider that as something good. Recent virality, when did they go viral last time? It was 8 days ago. That is perfect. Low subs, nope, it has 99,000 subscribers. In relation to big channels, that is very little. But faceless channels, they usually surf around at 30 to 70,000 subscribers. So it has slightly higher, but once again, since it seems like a very good niche and something that they've done for a long time, that kind of weighs out the fact that it's not a completely new channel. Have they reached over 100,000 views? Yes, they have. And is it a one-hit wonder? No, they are getting consistently a lot of views. 1 month ago, let's see here more. 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 4 weeks ago, they're getting consistent viral videos, which is perfect. And is the audience US or Western? This is slightly harder to tell if it is a US or Western audience. With all of the videos like Richest Black Family, that is probably a quite US audience. With Obama here, definitely US viewers. Canada, definitely US or Canadian viewers. So these are good signs that these videos go viral, because they probably have a very high RPM for these videos, due to the fact that US people are watching them. However, videos about Philippines, like this, will naturally attract Asian viewers, right? Since people from the Philippines are more likely to watch a video about the Philippines. So that is a minor red flag, something that you need to keep in mind. Black athlete, definitely US viewers. United Kingdom, definitely UK viewers. So in general, they seem to have a Western audience for the videos that do go viral. So we will see this as a thumbs up. That is good. So let's actually proceed and see here. Now, is this realistic for us? If we can recreate this, let's take a quick look at one of the videos here. Let's just do the most viral one.
When we talk about the wealthiest families in Asia, the Philippines has its own share of powerful dynasties that shape the nation. In this video,
in a very quick glance, you can see that this is exactly the same as Worldside, which is a regular cash cow channel. This is very good for us. We can easily create this. It's going to be quite cheap as well. So it is definitely recreatable. And let's say I would have a budget of, $500 per month to spend on the content production, then this would definitely be doable. That is perfect. So it is recreatable. It fits my budget. The upload frequency, let's see what these guys are doing. They are uploading, they're actually uploading very often here. They're uploading once per day. I'm not sure if that is actually beneficial for them, but that is something that you would have to keep in mind if you were to get into this channel. You would want to preferably upload once or per day or once every other day in order to match the volume that they are putting out. But that is also a good sign if you can do so, because if they're uploading once per day, it usually tends to be a channel that is profitable, since they are going around with their uploads. Upload length, they're doing like 30-minute videos, right? Let's take a look here. 30-minute videos approximately. Yes, they are slightly longer than a regular cash cow channel. That means, however, a higher RPM, which is good. So if you can match that, that would be a green flag. Now, lastly, I added a bonus here that you should think about when looking for niches. You should preferably look for something with naturally long videos. And this is due to one simple reason. Longer videos, along with a viewer audience, they will bring up your RPM so much. So if you post 1 hour long content, you're going to have a probably 5 times as high RPM as you would have if you posted 10-minute content. So you can easily increase your RPM and outcompete others very easily from just making longer content. So if you were getting into this niche, you could, for example, aim to post 1 video every 3 days, but make the documentaries 1 hour in length, and that way you could actually try and outcompete these people. On the YouTube platform, what currently performs really well, what kind of is the meta right now, is making longer videos and uploading more often. So if you do think about the logic behind this once again, since YouTube want to earn as much money as possible from their advertisers, they will prioritize anything that keeps the viewer around on the platform for as long as possible. So if you were to make a documentary that is 1 hour in length, and you actually keep the viewer around for 50% of your video's duration, they would stick on your video for 30 minutes, meaning that they are on the YouTube platform for 30 minutes, right? In reality, if a 30-minute video gets a 50% view duration, so the same as the 1 hour one, the viewer will only be on the platform for 15 minutes. And it's a lot easier to get these kind of good results with a long video rather than a short video. So that way, if you just make the same quality kind of content as this channel, but you make the content longer, you will naturally outcompete them and your channel will see better results. And also, just a bonus is a higher RPM. I don't know if that explanation actually makes sense, but you can let me know in the comments below if this, or if you want a more thorough explanation. So we've now found a pretty, it's a mediocre niche, to be completely honest, but I'm gonna find it this fast just so that we can move on with the tutorial. That should outline the process of how you actually do find niches. And a very important thing that I want to mention here is that it is all about the reps. It is all about how many hours you spend sitting and looking for niches. You're not going to find a niche as fast as I did right here. I just want to outline the process for you so that you know what to do. So be realistic with your process. Your niche determines the entire trajectory of your journey if you do become successful or not. Because if you find a good niche, you can create kind of shit content but still go viral and earn a bunch of money. But if you find a very bad niche, you can make the super good content, best content in the world, but it will still not, break through and go viral and make you any money. So the niche choice is the most important decision that you will make. Do not just rush through it because you think it's boring. The boring tasks are oftentimes what actually moves the needle and takes you forward. And I've also written here data sheet, and one very important thing to make sure that you are progressing as you should and to make sure that you keep track of everything that you find is to just use a very simple sheet like this where you outline the channel link, subs, average views, if it's active still or not, if it's recreatable, the content itself, and you just simply note down all of the niches that you find. Strive to note down, let's say, 20 niches before you actually do move on to the next step. So in this case, I would just take the Billionaire Chronicles. I would take the link to the channel, just put that there. The subs that they have is 99k, and the average views that they have is let's see if we can actually see this with the next little Chrome extension, 86,000. So 99 and 86,000, 99k, average views 86,000, and active, yes it is, recreatable, yes it is. So you would just do this until you have, let's say, 20 niches in this sheet, and when you've done some research, you will have about 20 niches here. That should be enough and what you should strive for. You will have a very good overview of what actually looks good and what looks a little bit less good. And then you can move on to the next step when you have determined what is better than everything else. And to not make this video 5 hours long, I'm just gonna pick this one channel and proceed to the next step, which would be the competitor analysis. And this is equally important to the niche that you find and the niche research, because what you do during the competitor analysis is that you actually validate your findings. So if you think about it, how can you possibly know that your niche is, you know, good to go and as little risk as possible if you haven't looked into all of the different competitors? And the data that you find during the competitor analysis step will actually be very, very crucial for when you do pick video topics, when you make your titles, when you make your thumbnails. So this step is arguably one of the most important parts of the journey as well, so make sure to listen. So we want to validate our findings, right? We have our channel right here. If you would not have the Next Level Chrome extension, simply what you can do is, the first method is just to, let's say, take the most, let's take this one. This is the video that we found, right? We take the title and we simply paste that into the search bar like this, and we see what we find. And you can see that they are ranking here with this. They simply remade their most viral video from 1 year ago, 4 weeks ago, and they got very good results. They're using a proven concept. Let's see what we can find. So you can see here we have a competitor that has done the exact same video. They have also like ripped off the thumbnail. So what we would do now when you do find your first competitor, I have written up the step here. You should have datasheet number 2, and this looks very similar to the niche sheet, but we have these kind of headers instead. You'll see here: channel link, subs, average views, highest views, and if it's active, yes or no. So first of all, we can just add our reference channel in here. Let's just take the link here actually. Let's just add the reference channel into the competitor sheet. 99k in subs, right? Oops. 99k, and it had 86k average views, and then the highest views would be, let's see, 2.4 million. So we would add that in here, boom, and then we would also add the new competitor that we found, which is the fame analysis. They have tried to get into the exact same niche. Copy the link. The amount of subs that they have is 7.48k, 7.5k, let's say. It's not that strict. Average views, we can see with the Chrome extension. They have 15,953. So let's say 15k. Highest views, what would that be? Most popular videos, let's sort. 92, that's actually not in the same niche, so I'm not sure if we can count it. So let's say 6.6k views, because that is actually the relevant niche. That is very bad results. Definitely not something that we would be aiming for. The latest video would be 3 months ago, so they have pretty much abandoned the channels. That will mean that we will write no here if it's active or not. That's a huge red flag. Great, so now we have the first competitor. Then we would simply just see if we can find even more ones. We can find another one here, the luxury watch list. They seem to have also failed with their upload, 55 views. So let's just note that one down as well. I think you guys are getting the concept here. You just basically map this out for all of the competitors that you can find. I'm not gonna bore you guys and do this, you know, but what you preferably want to do is fill out maybe to 15 competitors at minimum. If the niche doesn't have 15 competitors, then I wouldn't recommend that you do get into the niche, since it might not be enough demand for the content. Like a good niche that is getting very good results, it will have at least 15 competitors, and that is not actually an issue. That's just good because you get more data to work with. So you would fill this list out to simply 15 competitors or so. I can actually show you here that with the Next Level Chrome extension, you can just press the similar channels tab here, press on in-depth search, and then search, and you will see that it basically does what we just did with the search function, but it does it automatically. This is where I mean that it can save time. So it found profit and luxury. Let's take a look here. They are basically doing the exact same content, not getting the best results. We would add that to the competitor sheet. Let me just do that in just 1 second. Great, I've now added this to the sheet. And I'm not gonna fill this out as I said, but if we just look at the overall trend here, we can see that the only actual successful channel, which seems to be getting good results, is the main reference channel that we found. All of the other channels are either inactive or they don't get that many views. And that is a huge red flag. Let's say you would have just continued with the niche that you found without doing any competitor analysis, then you would just throw yourself into this, the Billionaire Chronicles niche. You might have, created a lot of content, spending a lot of your budget as well, and then it simply doesn't work out, only due to the fact that you didn't analyze how it's going for the competitors. Basically what I'm seeing here, and as I said, I'm not going to fill this out completely, but I can see on the trend that this is not a good niche to get into, simply because it is too little success amongst too many competitors. And that is not a very good thing. It will naturally make the niche more risky. And if you are a beginner getting into YouTube automation, something that is risky is the least thing that you want. If you are experienced and you know how YouTube automation works and you know how to outcompete others, this could be interesting to you, but since you're a beginner, you just want to maximize your chances of success, and that is what I'm here to help you do. So I would disregard from following with this niche, but now I have shown you the outline process of actually finding a niche and validating a niche. So let's move on to the next step. So I will pick this niche to continue with in this tutorial, since it will make for a very good walkthrough for you guys. This is a very standard cash cow channel, and basically the difference between this channel and channels that are making $20,000 per month, they have the exact same production procedure, but they just have a simply or a slightly different sub niche. So instead of making content about Singaporean families, you might be making content about towns in the US that are great to live in, for example. That is the only difference. How you create the content is the exact same. And you can see that I've written here, see this as a layup for what's to come. And this is because what you do in the competitor analysis step will help you a lot with everything related to titles, thumbnails. So it is very good data for you to have just all of these channels mapped out in the sheet. We will use it a lot later on. But boom, if you have proceeded this far in the tutorial, the hardest part is officially over, and the part where you arguably should spend most of your time. Now it's time for the next step, and that would be to prepare your channel. And the biggest thing to know here is the existence of shadow bans. They are real. You can get shadow banned by YouTube. And what it all means really is that YouTube thinks you are a bot or fake engagement, and therefore they restrict the reach of your channel. It can look exactly just like this. This is just an example. I had a channel ban where I posted some translated videos of how to AI. You can see here, como faccio videos or something in Portuguese or some stuff, maybe Spanish, I'm not sure. And you will see that I posted the video. The first video got 4 views and the second video got 0 views. And that is a definite sign that my channel has been shadow banned. You can see that it has 5 impressions overall. And that is after 180 days of posting it. So how can you tell a channel is shadow banned? If you do have a healthy channel with a good trust score, which is a term I'll get into in just a second, it will not get 5 impressions on your upload. YouTube will try it out and just push it a little bit. It might get a few hundred impressions, you might get some views, but you can see that this channel has gotten stuck at just 5 impressions, 0 views. That definitely means that it is indeed shadow banned. And the other video, let's see, it's here, 4 views and 6 impressions, all of which are from YouTube search. Basically, that is a big red flag that your channel is indeed shadow banned. So what you realistically want to see here, if we go over to how to AI, we could look at one of the latest videos here, analytics, the reach, back to the same metrics as the other channel. you would see that it has mainly impressions from browse features, and this is exactly what you want to see from a healthy channel. And this is what you will see if you post a video on a new channel that is not shadow banned. You will see a bunch of impressions from browse features, and that is essentially what you want to look out for. Not this, where all of the impressions or the majority of them are from YouTube search, and you have a like unreasonably low amount of impressions. You do not want like 6 impressions, as you can see here, where 75% of them are from YouTube search, right? That is a shadow ban channel. And this all has to do with the trust score of your channel, whether you get shadow ban or not. A channel with a higher trust score, it will get a bigger algo push, like you will see more views in the beginning because YouTube is trusting your channel. And a channel with low trust score is very prone to being shadow banned and restricted completely or seeing very low views. So the ways to increase your trust score, there are 2 main ways. And that is firstly, comparing the different channel types, like a new channel that you just created, a age channel that, has been on YouTube for a very long time, let's say 10 years, that you just buy from someone else, or a pre-monetized channel, which means basically a channel that has ongoing traffic, it is monetized and a part of the YouTube partner program. You can see that it is an active channel that people are using. And the main differences between these 3 channels, the new ones, obviously since they are very recently created and added to the platform, the trust from YouTube to them might not be the highest, since it's logical, it's a new channel, right, that has just been created. So they have a slightly low trust score. You do need to warm it up, which I'll show you guys in a second how to do, but you do need to warm it up in order to be safer. Then when it comes to age channels, what that basically is just a channel from, let's say, 2010. This channel where I actually uploaded these 2 videos that got shadow banned, this is an age channel. We can see, for example, if we go to the analytics here and press on lifetime, we'll see when they uploaded their first video. It got some views in 2008, right? That is when they uploaded their first video. So this has been around for over 10 years. It is an age channel. It is, however, not active right now. You can see that they're getting 0 impressions for years. So this way, YouTube will recognize the channel as something that has been around for a long time, so they will trust it more. But just because it is aged, it obviously didn't work, right? Because I got shadow banned. So what I would have to do here is warm it up even more to make YouTube trust it more, and then I could be good to go. So keep in mind, none of these things are guaranteed to work. Like, the algorithm is so complex, no like guru on the internet or not any professional on YouTube can tell you something that is guaranteed to not get shadow banned. It's completely random. But by the fact that you understand trust score, that will actually help you to mitigate the risk of you being shadow banned, right? Now, the last channel type would be pre-monetized. This is a channel that has been approved to the YouTube Partner Program. You buy the channel of someone else that has been posting content consistently, seeing views come in. And if you do buy a genuinely organic pre-monetized channel that is getting consistent views now, then the chances of that being shadow banned is essentially 0, right? Because it is already proven to be getting views. You already see that it's not shadow banned. And these channels might come at a higher price point. They can go from anywhere from $400 to $1,000, depending on where you buy them from and where you find them. What you should prioritize here is buying channels that are not botted in any way possible. They should be completely organically grown. But if you do find a genuinely organically grown channel, then you've come a long way, right? Not to mention that you have to spend all of this money to get it. So be careful though, because most people in the pre-monetized market, they try to just scam others by claiming that a channel is organic, when in reality it is kind of disguised as organic, but it is indeed botted. So do not trust anyone that tries to tell you a channel is organic, because 99% of the time it is spotted, and that's why I don't really recommend beginners to go that route. Instead, I would use an old channel that you have since earlier. Most people that have been on the YouTube platform for a while, they have created a YouTube channel just for personal use that you might have used when you have been younger. That channel very often has a good trust score with YouTube, since you have been using it like a normal user for a very long time. YouTube doesn't deem that as a threat. And based on what I've seen from my students and other people just getting very, very good results with YouTube, this is the consistently best method to go with. And I definitely recommend that everyone watching this specific tutorial goes with that method. Just using an old channel that you have, it usually works very well. Now, if you do want to buy pre-monetized channels, there's a site called Monetized Profiles. As I said, I do not recommend this to beginners since it's kind of a gray area. It is not something that is guaranteed to work, so kind of go in with that assumption. If you have loads of money to spend, why not? Might be worth to try out. But if you're a complete beginner, do not recommend it based on my experience. Monetized Profiles though is a vendor that is pretty reputable, so you can be more safe with that website than buying it from private sellers on some kind of forum where most people just get scammed. Anyways, what you want to do when you have acquired or chosen the way that you're going to proceed channel-wise, you should warm up the account no matter what type of account it is. And this is kind of just a precaution to make the risk of you being shadow banned even lower. And the way that you do this is that you use it like a normal user, not excessively. So you just go onto the channel like this. You would go onto the homepage and you just watch content like as if you were a normal YouTube user. So just use the channel, put a video on when you're cooking some food. Just watch a bunch of videos. You can even, as I've written here, you can even subscribe to some channels. Watch approximately 1 or 2 hours of content per day. If you do sit and watch 12 hours of content per day, that is using the channel excessively, and YouTube might deem you as a bot that way. So be conservative with the use of the channel. Subscribe, comment and like occasionally, not on every single video that you watch. So just try to be as natural as possible. Do not overdo it, because that will just put you in a even riskier position. Simply subscribe to 1 of 5 channels that you watch, leave a comment on 1 of 3 videos that you watch, and just stuff like that. And you want to do this for over a week minimum, in my experience, to mitigate the shadow ban risk, and then you should be good to go to post your first video. So that brings us on to the concept of video topics. And when it comes to your individual video creation, video topic is the most important thing to keep in mind and to do the right way. If you have a very bad video topic and you make a very good video itself, production-wise, it will most likely, completely flop. But if you have a super, super good video topic and your production is slightly worse, that can still go mega viral and make you a bunch of money. So all of these things like video editing quality, your hook, your thumbnail and stuff, they do not matter anything if your video topic is completely ass. So this is a very important thing to master, hence why I've made it a separate category. Now I have a incredibly important example to show you guys on why proven concept is your best friend. So if we go to the How to AI channel here, you can filter it for the most popular video. You will see that my most popular video with 2.9 million views, which is insane for this niche, is about bulk creating 1,000 monetizable YouTube shorts in 10 minutes with ChatGPT and Canva. And the way that I came up with this specific video topic was literally just analyzing my competitors. I found a video that was blowing up at the time 1 year ago, and I simply made the exact same video but with my own twist and my own angle, providing some extra value. I can even go here and search for bulk create 1,000 shorts with Canva and ChatGPT like this, and we can just scroll a little bit. Here's mine, and then we scroll down a bit, we can see Yamil Velji here, who's made a video with 3.9 million views 2 years ago about the exact same topic. And this is the guy that I initially just took the same concept of and made it my own. So his video that was performing super, super well, made what was the runway for the success of my channel. Thank you, Yamil, if you're watching this. But that is literally what you should do for your own channel, and why the competitor analysis sheet will be very good for you to recycle here. So in order to, find the best video topics in your specific niche, you would want to create a third sheet that looks like this, outlier sheet. This is going to help you a lot. And also when you're going to make titles later on, this will actually be a very good thing to have, a very good resource to have close by. But you can see here, video link, title, views, date posted, recreatable. So you would basically just go to all of the competitor channels that you have in your competitor analysis sheet. You would recycle those links, go on to, first of all, this one. Just take the most popular, let's say most popular videos from each one of your competitors. If they have multiple videos with the same amount of views, like here, 1.8 million and 2.4, you simply take the link to both of those two videos and fill that out in your outlier sheet. You also take the title, boom, add that here. You can also make this a bit wider. The amount of views that they did get, which is 2.4 million. Crazy. The date it was posted, 9 months ago, which would be, let's say, November 2024. Like that. Recreatable, yes, since we've already taken a look at the video before. So this is what you would want to do for all of your competitors. You simply go to link of the next channel. Let's take this one. See if they have any popular videos. Yes, they did have 2. The richest family in Malaysia and how they do it. By the way, separate note, making a video about Malaysia will, as we talked about before, only attract a Malaysian audience. So that is not super good to pursue. We would copy the title just to show you it. Enter that. Amount of views, 160k. And it was posted 3 months ago, which would be, when would that be? It would be like May, let's say, or April actually. April 2025. And it is recreatable because, as we can see,
talk about the richest people in the world. Malaysia boasts its own titans. Families who have built empires that rival the global giant.
Like basically crap quality, super easy to recreate. So of course we can do that. So you would basically just fill out the sheet with outliers like this. And for those of you that do not know what an outlier is basically just a video that has been performing better than usual. So you go onto a competitor's channel, you look at the average like view ceiling that they are at, and if a video is performing significantly better than that average views, that is an outlier, and therefore you add it to the outlier sheet. Now this sheet is basically just to help you get an overview of what kind of topics are performing well in your niche, because when you have, like, let's say 20 videos here or even 30 videos that are proven to perform well, you will be it will be super easy for you to just copy all of this, feed it into ChatGPT and ask for, based on the trends and data that you see here, what would be the best video that I could post. Or you can just make the assumption yourself based on what you see. For example, with the 3 outliers that I would have here, it's kind of, not enough data to make a good assumption, but I'll see that the richest family kind of format is working really, really well. So you would essentially just fill this out to like 20 or 30 videos. Now I'm gonna just keep it this way so that we can move on to the next step of the tutorial. But let's say based on the videos that we have here, we can see that a recurring trend is that this is the richest family, or this is the richest kind of concept is working really, really well for these channels. And in this case, something about black families or colored families is obviously a proven concept. 1.8 million views and 382k views very recently as well, just 1 month ago posted. So that is what we will do. We will create a video on the richest black family in the world and use that as our proven concept. And the reason why we want to go so hard on proven concepts is because if someone has already tried something out for you and they have proven that it works, they have gone viral with their video, then that massively increases your chances of going viral yourself. And that is the only thing that you should be maximizing when you are getting into YouTube as a beginner. You want to go with the routes that have the highest rate of success, and instead of just trying to reinvent the wheel and try something completely new, because that will most likely fail. Also, this will be kind of important later on, but a broad approach will generally make your content go viral easier. So a lot of beginners, they make this mistake where they really niche down their titles and their video topics to something super niche. And what that does is it limits the amount of reach that you realistically can get. So you want to keep your approach to the video topic and your title and your packaging very broad, so that if you think about it like a funnel, you don't want to make the funnel very small because then only few people will drop into it. But if you make your funnel very wide, and that the interest of your viewer can be literally anything, a lot more people might be likely to watch your content, making it easier for your video to go viral. So in order to proceed to the next step, just lock in your first 3 video topics based on the outlier sheet and what is proven to work well. So that means we can move on to the next part of the process of setting up your faceless channel, which is creating the content and preparing everything that we need in order to do so. I'm going to show you everything HC on how to create this specific video, the richest black family in the world or whatever. So make sure to follow along, because this might get a little bit messy, playing around with all of this AI softwares and different websites. So the way that I like to go about this is just keeping it very organized. First of all, let's realistically calculate what you actually need to create the content. Let's take a good look at the video that we will recreate here.
Step into the world of these extraordinary black families, where innovation knows no bounds and success is a testament to resilience and determination. Beyond mere trailblazers,
you can see that this is literally just stock footage and a voiceover. It is super easy to create. You just cycle through the stock footage, make it actually fit the script and what is being said, and that is all. And they've managed to get 1.8 million views from just that one video, which is 41 minutes in length. I can guarantee you that this is over $10,000 that they've earned. So in order to recreate something like this, we would obviously need, let's map it out just here. We would need a script. And how can we write that? In that case, since this is very broad knowledge, it is something that AI can definitely research. You do not need a professional writer to make this kind of basic script. So we will use AI for that. You can just do like assumptions here. For the voiceover, I could tell that this is definitely AI. It is not a professional voice actor, so we just write AI as well. For the editing, now, here you really have to weigh out what you prioritize. Either you can outsource the editing, obviously spending more money, but you're saving a lot of time, or you can do the editing itself, since it is so simple, and you'll just spare that money instead. In my case, since I've done this for a very long time, I would obviously outsource the editing completely. The time that I would spend on the actual editing is way more valuable, because editing is a rather hard skill that takes a long time to learn. So you will spend a lot of time in order to just make one single video, and in order to succeed on YouTube, you have to post quite a lot. So you can see that the equation doesn't really make sense. So editing, outsource. Thumbnail, we can actually, let's take a look at their thumbnail just for this specific video. It was this one. It is a AI generated video of a black family, and they put some text over it. I'm pretty sure that we could make this thumbnail ourselves. So I'm gonna write down here. So this is what we will need. We will need an AI tool for the script writing. We will need an AI tool for the voiceover. We will need to find a freelancer that can edit all of the assets together and put together the actual video. And we will need to find out how we would make the thumbnail. I'm gonna go through all of these steps one by one, showing how I would create these things on the spot so that you can follow along. And you can literally just see that I followed the outline here, like outsource rate, how much will you / can you do yourself. We can do editing, but it's gonna be hard, so we'd rather outsource that. And what do we outsource it to? Either a freelancer or AI. So we've already determined this. And what does our budget allow? Since we will have a normal budget, I can afford to outsource the editing. But of course, if you are on a very tight budget and you don't have any money at all, you would have to do the editing yourself. It's very logical. I'm sure you can figure this out on your own. But that is basically what you want to think over. And if it does come to the situation where you, for example, let's say you would get into a very specific 3D niche, you do not know how they are creating this 3D content, but you want to find out. What you then can do is just follow the methods of finding freelancers that I'm going to show you later on in the video. Follow these methods, get in contact with the precise freelancers that tell you that they can do this kind of stuff, and ask them what kind of software they use, what kind of apps they use, and how they actually create the content. That will give you a very good insight on how the content would be created from someone that actually knows. So you just don't sit there and try to figure out on your own. So for example, with a 3D niche, you don't know how to 3D render stuff, so you would simply get in contact with a 3D artist on, let's say, Upwork or Fiverr, and then you would ask them what software they use in order to create the content, and that way you now figured out how it's done. So now that we know what we need to create the actual video, the first step would be moving on to the scripts. So I'm going to take it in the same order that you should approach your channel. It usually starts with the script, then you move over to the voiceover, then you put everything together when editing, and then lastly you either do the thumbnail at the end or you do the thumbnail at the start or throughout the process. It doesn't really matter. But these scripts, we are going to use AI. That is what 85% of the regular cash cow channels use, maybe 95% at this point, since AI has gotten so good. There are 2 AI tools that are generally used when it comes to AI writing. Claude is a chatbot, just a normal chatbot. They are very good for long scripts. The quality is slightly worse than ChatGPT, but with Claude you can generate a script that is 30 minutes, 40 minutes in length, and that is not possible yet with ChatGPT. So ChatGPT will generally have better scripts, more professionally written. There will be more depth to the script, but Claude will be very clutch when you want to make longer content, which will be very relevant coming later into this video. So I'm going to personally use Claude for this one instead of ChatGPT. The prompting process and everything and the workflow is the exact same for both of them, so you can apply this strategy to all of the writing AI tools basically. I'm going to get into the workflow in just a minute, but there is one more complicated and kind of underground method that me and many of the more advanced YouTube automation people use, and that is creating your own custom GPT to write scripts. You can see that I have one for How to AI. I also have one for Stoic channels. And what this has been, I can actually show you the settings of the GPT here if you give me 1 second. So you can see that I've uploaded a ton of viral scripts in my niche to give the custom GPT data. I have a very long workflow of instructions for the GPT to follow. I also have uploaded a YouTube script master, which is a large JSON context profile. So it is quite advanced. Takes a bit to set up. If you would like to see a separate tutorial only focused on making the perfect custom GPT, let me know in the comments. I will make it if there's enough demand. But for now, we're going to use Claude. So Claude is super straightforward. It is basically ChatGPT, but a little less quality in the responses, but still very, very, very good for YouTube scripts, and it works on the free plan. So the workflow that we have to follow is to first of all transcribe our video, then generate or prompt AI to generate the script with the same style as the transcription. Then you want to touch up the script manually, and what you want to look for here is just touching up the hook, since the hook is logically the most important part of the script, right? The beginning of your video, if someone watches the intro and they click off, that's going to hurt your metrics a lot. But if you have a very solid hook, that can be what makes or breaks your video, right? Making it go viral. So you want to touch up the hook manually because AI might not always be the best at writing. And you also want to quickly skim through the entire script, make sure that the language sounds good, and make sure that the overall just story progression in the script makes sense. So it's not just completely, the AI hasn't just gone off track and written some weird shit. So we'll start with the transcription. There is a tool called YouTube to transcript that we'll be using completely free. So just go onto the video that we're gonna remake.
If you were
Copy the link to the video, go back to YouTube transcript, and boom, you will immediately have the transcript to your video. You can just copy it here, boom, copy transcript. And then we can head back over to Claude, because now the next step would be to prompt AI to write with the same style. Alright, so you can see that I'm on Claude here. I have made I just very quickly wrote this prompt. I'm going to paste the transcript of my documentary about the richest black family on earth. I want you to write a script with approximately the same length that is incredibly similar to my documentary. It should maintain the same written style, content, and progression. This documentary was very successful, so I'm just trying to emulate the success and make another documentary that is very similar. It should be as similar as possible. So I'm just pushing basically that I want to maintain the same written style, content, progression, and I want to make it very, very similar. The reason why I'm writing my documentary is simply because sometimes Claude or ChatGPT might have, like, their policies are super weird. So you just want to save some credits in case it does tell you like, oh, I can't write this due to blah, 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 you know, being similar to the original script. But then you just want to send this prompt like this. And as you can see, it's starting to generate the script here. And as I said before, like, ChatGPT would not be able to write such a long script in one go. You would have to divide it up into parts and then generate every part segment by segment, which would take a lot longer. So in this case, where we don't need the best script on earth, Claude is actually really, really effective at making those. So you can now see that the script has been generated. I did have to prompt Claude to make it double the length, and I did have to prompt it to continue. But good thing with Claude is that it's built into the chatbot to, in case that it reaches the word limit, which Claude is able to generate, which is like 3,000 words, I think 3.5k, they actually give you the option to continue or nudge Claude to continue the script, as you can see here in the original prompt. That is what I did, and I actually got a script. It did not get finished because I hit the limit, but I got a script that with the word counter, if I just paste it in here, it is 12,240 words. This is over 1 hour in spoken length. So this would be even longer than our competitors, which is a very good thing. So the next step here, according to the blueprint, would just be to touch up the script manually. We would want to touch up the hook. So let's just put this script in a Google Doc so we can actually look at it in depth. So I would just open up a blank Google Doc like this, paste in the script. You can see that Claude has already formatted it. Now this is a bit too long for a first video for you to make, so I would recommend that you go a little bit shorter, but just for the example here. So the intro would be: step into a world where legacy meets innovation, where determination transcends generation, and where success knows no boundaries. These extraordinary black families have redefined what it means to build empires, leaving their mark across continents and industries. Now that is not a good hook. What you want to do with the hook is first of all match what is going to be, promised in the title. And since we will use a title very similar to "This is the richest black family in the world, how they made it," we want to write a hook that complements that sentence. So for example, we could instead write, I'm just going to speed run through this so you can see the idea. So, the first sentence, we tell the viewer what they're going to get. And that is a very important thing, so that we then can fulfill that promise later on with the storyline and all that stuff. So in this video, we'll break down the incredible wealth of the most powerful black family on earth. And then the next sentence could be something that hypes it up and makes it interesting to the viewer, like from billion-dollar mansions to some of the biggest, this is super random, but supercar collections in the world. These black families, just to complement the title again, these black families are some of the most impressive and influential people ever seen, or something like that. So this would be, instead of sounding like super much like AI, where legacy meets innovation, where determination transcends generations, we have something that sounds a little bit more casual, reflects the title in just the first 2 sentences, and actually teases what will come in the video, teasing people with billion-dollar mansions. Like, people want to know what a billion-dollar mansion is, or biggest supercar collections in the world. Preferably, if you were doing this properly, you would also want to make sure that there's some segment about billion-dollar mansions and biggest supercar collections, because as said, you want to meet the expectations that you're setting with the hook. So that would be a very important thing. Now, I'm not going to spend too much more time on the hook. Learning how to make a good hook comes with repetition. You need to write a bunch of good hooks and actually analyze the scripts from your competitors. For example, we could take a look at the hook that these guys are using for their video.
Step into the world of these extraordinary black families, where innovation knows no bounds and success is a testament to resilience and determination. Beyond mere trailblazers, they are the...
Like this is they haven't even touched up the hook, the guys that made this video. This is definitely AI. So in this case, our hook would be even better, and we just spent 1 minute, you know, touching up the hook manually, and that can actually make the biggest difference to if this video would go viral or not. Then the last thing that you would want to do is just skim through, you know, big parts of the script, make sure that nothing sounds super weird. And for super long videos like this, it is not equally important that you know, make everything perfect. As I'm going to mention later on in this video, you want to prioritize speed over execution. So you don't have to skim through every single word and make sure that they are perfect. Rather, you know, focus on making a mediocre script, get the video out there, publish it so that you get more data to work with. So boom, we have the first script for our upload. Now the next step would be, as I've outlined here, the voiceover. So there are basically just one main AI tool to use. There are a bunch of voiceover tools out there, but 11 Labs is by far the best one when it comes to how cheap it is, how good quality it is. It's quite an easy choice because, yeah, 11 Labs is one of the first voiceover tools, and they just excel in every area really. There's no reason to even look for other tools since 11 Labs is just too good. So we're now on the 11 Labs website here. This is how it looks when you have logged in. There is one very important thing that you wanna, you know, keep in mind when doing this. Try to avoid using the most common AI voices like Adam or the other AI voices that are super, like they are overused on all faceless channels, on TikTok, on Instagram. Try not to use those since it might put off the viewer if they know that it's AI right away. And also, no one really knows if it makes a difference with the YouTube algorithm. But since there are a bunch of other voices that are really good, you know, why would you use the same ones that everyone else is using? Instead, you want to find a voice that is similar to your competitor. Now, in this case, let's listen once again.
The architects of change, reshaping industries and leaving an indelible mark on the globe.
They seem to have some middle-aged UK guy. So we could just head back over to 11 Labs here, go to the voices tab up in the top left, and you'll see like a library as we have here. We can just filter the voices for narrative and story. Let's go with a male, middle-aged voice, also accent if we want to do it very similar to our competitor, British. And then you would just apply the filters and you'll find a bunch of suggestions. You just press them and you will hear a preview.
The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits...
A good story hooks you in like the first tug on an invisible thread.
I wandered lonely as a cloud, and here we have a calm, well-spoken narrator.
So you can just preview the voices, find one that you think you would fit well. I think the second one I previewed, Ellis or Eli's, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. That would work really well for our story. So let's proceed with that one. Perfect. So the voice should now be in the text-to-speech playground. So simply press that in the top left corner, and you will see that you have a kind of playground sandbox where you can just insert whatever text you want to, and it will come back as a voiceover. So highlight or press the voice up here. Then I will just use Ellis as we have added. Then go back to Claude and take a section of your script. Let's take the, actually we have it in here. So let's just take the intro. We need to remove the previous part like this. Boom. Now we have the finalized intro. So we would just copy this, go back to 11 Labs, paste that in, and then generate the speech. Okay, so the generation is done, and it turns out that Eli's here, or Ellis, was a bit too engaging. This can happen, you know, even to the best people on YouTube, but you can just take a listen here.
In this video, we'll break down the incredible wealth of the most powerful black family on earth.
That doesn't sound too good, right? So we would have to change the voice to something else. Maybe we should ditch the British stuff and just go with, let's try James here and generate this. All right, so the generation here is done for James. This is an American accent, but it actually turned out a lot better. So this is what you will have to do as well. Test around with a few different voices. Let's take a look at how it sounds.
In this video, we'll break down the incredible wealth of the most powerful black family on earth.
From billion-dollar mansions to some of the biggest supercar collections in the world.
So as you can hear, it sounds, average. It sounds fine. If you would be doing this yourself and you want to really prioritize the quality, you would just try out a few more voices, generate it multiple times, and you would hear when you get the best output. But then you would just download this like this, so you have it on your computer. You would have the intro done. Basically, then the next step would just be to, for example, take this entire part like this, go back to 11 Labs, and just exchange that, generate it. You can generate 3,000 characters at a time, as you can see here. So you can generate double the length of this. What can happen though, and what you should keep in mind, is that when you do generate very big paragraphs, if I were to generate this one, and there's like an issue in the voiceover here, then I would have to regenerate the entire text in order to fix it, or hope that it's fixed, and that way I burn through a lot of credits. So it's usually a better thing to just generate a small cohort like this, a small chunk like this, and then you generate the next chunk. It is quite time consuming, but that's what you'll have to live with. So you would just go on and generate more and more of these until you have them all saved down on your computer. Just for this example, I'm going to only do the intro, and after all of that you should be done with your voiceover and have all of the assets. Now, if you would like a human voiceover, I do not really recommend it, but I thought I'd show the method just to include all of the knowledge that I have in this video. And you would simply use a site like Fiverr to hire one. This is how it looks, and it is super straightforward. You can see that I found some guys here in the past. You can even steal them if you want to. But I would just go and search for, American voiceover like this. Then you just listen to a few of them here.
Luxury yachts and even zoo.
Doesn't sound too good. You want to find someone that is quite cheap, not like this $80 per 100 words. That is insane. You want to find someone that is kind of unrecognized and doesn't charge you a lot. So let's see here. We can even do American male.
My name's Aaron, and I'm a professional voiceover artist.
Like this. Scroll down a bit. I would recommend you do that. Here, $15 per 100 words.
Professional voice actor Chris Marsh here.
Like, he would be a great voiceover actor, but he is too expensive, $15 per 100 words. If you were to generate a 12,000 word script, that would be quite expensive. For 1,500 words, you generally want to land somewhere at, $10, $20 per 1,500 words. That is a good deal. But if you compare that with what you would pay for an AI tool, you can see the very big difference in budgeting. So that's why I recommend everyone to just go with the AI route. But this is how you would do it. Simply preview all of them until you find a very good one.
Featuring a 1-inch camera capable of shooting
something like that. Then you just simply press on the profile. You press on contact me here. Ask a question or get a quote, and you just link. Okay, the chat box is actually blocked here by my webcam, but you would just link the video that you're looking to create and tell them that you're going to create something very similar. You need a voiceover that sounds like this, and then ask them what they would charge for it. Negotiate with them. Always negotiate with people on sites like this, because they would probably agree to 50% of the rate that they have put on their little job post. So that is how you would do it. They would send you the voiceover files, and you would have them just like you have downloaded them from 11 Labs. Now that means that we can move on to the next step of the process of creating our content, and that would be the editing. Now the first option is to do it yourself, and that is completely dependent if you want to spend the time and actually learn this stuff and how complex your niche's videos are. Since our niche is literally just stock footage playing, it's going to be quite easy. I'm going to show you guys a quick example of how you can use the free web-based app CapCut to just put together a quick video. But yeah, if you do not want to spend the time on this, you should simply outsource cheaply, which I'm going to show you afterwards. You can skip ahead if you want. But the way that you would use CapCut would just be to head over to the homepage, create a new project in the 16:9 aspect ratio, which is for YouTube videos. And here you would just want to upload your voiceover, of course, which is boom, like that. And now we need footage to show as the visuals, right? And since we're only working with stock footage here as our competitor, which is this one,
stage. Join us as we delve into the captivating narrative.
We can either go that route and just find stock footage, for example, on sites like Pixabay. This is completely copyright free, so you will not have any issues with anything. For example, if we were to pick stuff that fits our topic, you know, we're talking about rich and successful colored people, so we might take this one. Why not? And like the videos might seem, you know, super not engaging and boring, but believe it or not, older people watching YouTube, like they can think that this is super interesting. And obviously a video with poor editing like this and super boring stock footage, they still got 1.8 million views and made more than $10,000. So I don't know how to explain it, but it just works. So we would continue downloading some stock footage videos here. For example, something else that fits our topic would be, let's see, printing money. I guess that kind of fits. Why not? We're talking about money, right? Let's just take this aspect ratio, download it as an MP4. Let's take something else that might be, this would be kind of good B-roll. Now, if you were wanting to do this with better quality than your competitors, you would preferably want to find real life footage. If you do outsource an editor, they should definitely not only do stock footage, it is bare minimum effort, and only if your competitor simply does it. But if you want to make content better than them, you should be using real life footage. And the way that you would do that would just be to, you know, go online, find game footage or other footage of Oprah Winfrey, maybe some influential colored people, and just combine that with a lot of music and the voiceover, and it can turn out really, really good. Now for this example, since I'm showing you guys how to edit yourself, I'm just gonna go the easiest route, which is putting together stock footage and the voiceover. But if you do outsource an editor, tell them to make it better than this, right? So I would just upload the stock footage B-roll that we downloaded, right? Like this, boom. I would add the voiceover that we generated to the timeline down here. You might not see too much because of my camera, but we would then also add the stock footage. Just drag that onto the screen like this. And just to show you guys the quick concept without, you know, sitting here for 30 minutes trying to make it look awesome.
We'll break down the incredible wealth of the most powerful black family on earth. From
like here, after 5 seconds, you would probably want to change clip to make it more engaging. Could also put this guy in the beginning of the video like this.
In this video, we'll break down the incredible wealth of the most powerful black family on earth. From billion-dollar mansions to some of the biggest supercar collections in the world, these black families are some of the most impressive and influential people ever seen.
Like, this is the same production quality as the video with 1.8 million views. I'm not gonna go any further with editing it myself. This is just to show you guys the workflow so that you can either spend time and do this yourself even better. You could add captions with the text feature up in the top left corner here. Captions. Then just press on auto captions, choose your language, boom, like this. It will generate the captions for us depending on the voiceover and the words that it can pick up. Let's see here, look at this.
In this video, we'll break down the incredible wealth of the most powerful black family on earth. From billion-dollar...
You can see here there are errors. You of course have to touch up the captions as well.
Mansions to some of the biggest supercar collections in the world.
But you can see how easy it is to create content, and you could even spice this up with generating AI images and animating them to use as the footage being shown if you want to really use customized stuff to your story. I could show you that in a separate tutorial if you want to, just let me know in the comments. But you're of course going to get the best results if you do outsource an editor, because they can like thoroughly put time into making your production quality better. And that actually leads us into the next step, which would be hiring an editor and how to do it. Like, where do you actually find these editors that are good and that are cheap? And there's one very distinct way that me and the professionals do this. We use this very niched Discord communities, as you can see here. There are two main communities. One is called Video Editors and one is called Creative Paradise. I will put the links to the communities in the description below. So I will just head over to, firstly, the Video Editors community. It will look like this. I am in the Create a Request channel, as you can see right here. There's actually a button behind my webcam, as you can see here. If we scroll down a bit. It is right behind my webcam, but you would just press it. It says Paid Request. It's a blue button. And then you would be taken to this screen or this kind of pop-up. It says, what are you looking for? Just answer the questions according to what you need, what kind of editing you need. What are you looking for? A great way to describe this would just to copy the link to our reference video. Go back to Discord. We can include it as the example URL, but you would like to have, I'm looking for a video editor that for documentary style videos. Boom. Just a quick header. Budget, just type, let's say $70, let's say. Payment service, very straightforward, and describe what you need. So here you will simply give them as much details as possible. You can see that I filled in this box like this. I'm looking for a video editor just like the example attached. Simple editing, just match the footage to the voiceover and script. No complex animations, no motion graphics. Videos consist of B-roll footage, voiceover and music. That should tell the editor enough. Like, the best way to get an editor to do what you want is simply to give them as many examples as possible. So you would just copy the links to a bunch of videos that are in the style you want them to be in. And that way they will understand, because some editors might not be the best at English, or language barriers might make it hard for them to understand your instructions. So example URLs like that cannot go wrong. They look at video, they see what you want, and that's going to give you the best result. So then you would just submit this job post. It will go out to the channel here where like job posts are published, and then you'll get like 50 DMs from editors just looking to edit for you like this. I can just go to my message request now and we'll probably find one like this guy, Mr. Video Editor. Kind of funny. Sorry to bother you. I was wondering if you are in need of a video editor. I'm a professional editor, and don't worry, from professional I mean like this guy would not be a good editor. I can just tell you that much right now. But you will get a bunch of DMs like this, and what you then want to do to be as efficient as possible, just draft a template message to all of these guys, like send the link to your most relevant previous work, like this, not the entire portfolio, because this will save you so much time in a way that instead of you having to skim through their entire portfolio and just try to find something that looks rather good, you will get the link to a specific video that they think is the most similar to what you're actually looking for. If they still just send you the whole portfolio link, like, I would honestly just disqualify them based on that thing alone, because they cannot listen to simple instructions as just, sending their most relevant work, right? So that's going to save you a bunch of time. Remember to prioritize speed. So don't sit and have long conversations with literally every single freelancer. Just ask for the most relevant video. If that one looks good, ask for a free sample and then look at free sample. If that looks good, you can proceed to work with them. And that is how you will find a good video editor very, very fast. Now, the Creative Paradise community is the exact same. I'll put the link to it. So you just join, make a job post. It's mainly for editors. You can also find scriptwriters in there, I think. And it's literally the exact same process. So I'm not going to reiterate it again. Like, this is genuinely the method that I have used and that everyone I know in the YouTube automation space uses to find editors. So it's a very proven method with enough time spent in these communities and talking with enough people. Like, you will find editors that are good. Moving on, the next thing I want to mention, and this is just kind of a little tip to help you guys become more efficient. And when you're doing the quality checks for your editing, you know, the content that the editor send you, or even, you know, content that you might have created yourself. Because editors, they are, especially cheap ones, they are most likely going to have a bunch of mistakes in editing that you have to comment on, especially if they're new as well. More expensive editors, they can make mistakes, but they generally shouldn't, of course, because they're more expensive. They should be better. But based on my experience, editors do make a lot of mistakes. And since your view of what is actually, you know, perfect and their view is different, it might take some time for you guys to get aligned. But there is a tool called frame.io that is perfect for editing quality checks. I'm gonna show you guys very quickly how it works. All right, so you just wanna head over to CapCut and export your video real quick, like this. Boom, boom. It's gonna take a few minutes loading. So what I'm going to show you guys now, the process of actually importing the content to Frame.io and reviewing it. This is what your editor would do, exactly what I'm doing right now, and they would send the Frame.io link to you. And that is where it becomes convenient. You don't have to sit and download every single video that you're going to review. You simply head over to the Frame.io link, leave the comments, and then you're done. So it's all gonna make sense in just a second here. Boom, I can now download the video onto my computer. Allow file downloads. Perfect, and now I can head over to frame.io here. This is how the home screen looks when you've you know, logged in. So you would just press on new here, file upload, choose your video like this. Perfect, it is now done. So we can just double click on it. And this is the screen that you would get to if you were to click the link that your editor provides. So they would upload the video into their own free frame.io account and send you the link. And now we can move on to leaving the actual comments. And what to think about here when you're watching the video. I have listed out some of the things. You can also add simple, actually let's add it up here. Make it easier for you. You can just take a screenshot or just note these things down in a little checklist. It's gonna help you a lot. But this is what you want to look for. First of all, random flickering and cuts. I'm not gonna have that in my video since I did this myself. I know that there are no random flickers or cuts, but it's basically when for some reason it like the editing just becomes a white screen for 1 second and then it moves on to the next screen. So it just looks super weird. It is basically something that breaks in the video, or the editor just makes a mistake that he doesn't find himself. So you want to look out for those, of course. Broken transitions or complex transitions, that is, you want to keep everything as simple as possible. And broken or complex transitions, what I mean by that is a transition that, you know, swooshes around the entire screen or like twists everything and it just looks super over edited instead of just a simple fade transition. You want to keep everything as simple as possible. That will make it the most enjoyable for the viewer to watch. So keep just try to tell them to edit it simply and don't overdo everything with, you know, adding random ass transitions that don't even make sense. Visual footage doesn't match voiceover. So this is something that actually definitely ruins the viewer experience significantly. If your visual footage doesn't match the voiceover, then the video will just not make any sense. For example, if we watch here.
In this video, we'll break down the incredible wealth of the most powerful
that makes sense, right?
Black family on Earth. From billion-dollar mansions to some of the biggest supercar collections in the world.
This also makes sense.
These black families are some of the most impressive and...
Now, this screen doesn't really make sense. Like, why is it showing a video or scene of a city when it's talking about influential people? That doesn't really make sense. Instead, here you would tell the editor to, you know, use a real-life clip of Barack Obama behind like a podium giving a speech. Because we're talking about influential people, the most, you know, rich and influential black people in America or on Earth. So we want to show something that reflects what is being said. Otherwise, like the person watching this, they might not even look at the videos because it's just a B-roll of a city, right? So I would just leave the comment here like this. Change this scene and make it make more sense with the script plus voiceover. And you can see that when I submit the comment, it actually appears up here. So the editor can easily see the exact timestamp of the comment based on where I have paused the video. And it's just super efficient and easy for them to see all of the comments where they're actually placed. That is why it becomes such a good thing for your workflow. So yeah, always check the content so it makes sense with the script. Next up would be excessive stock footage. Of course, we have only used stock footage in this video, so that is not something you should strive after. I would change all of these clips for, or at least 50% of them for some real life clips, as I mentioned with Barack Obama. That would make this a lot more engaging and more enjoyable for people to watch, because they can actually relate with that clip. They know who Barack Obama is, and it makes so much sense with the script and voiceover. So that's what you should look for. And these last two things kind of go hand in hand, audio levels and bad sound designs. First of all, audio levels. If your background music, by the way, you should always have background music or like a background soundtrack in your content to make it just 10 times better. If it overpowers the voiceover, if you just take a look at your video and you can very blatantly, like you get distracted by the background music instead of the voiceover, then that is definitely too loud. It should just be in the background and not, overtake anything else. So that is definitely something you need to watch out for. I made this mistake many times, and as soon as that happens, like the comments just completely slaughter the video. They just say like, "Oh, it's the sound or the music. Make the music louder, please. I couldn't hear the music made louder." A bunch of jokes, and you don't want that. Sound design. Some editors, they are super lazy and they just add kind of random sound effects to stuff that doesn't even make sense. Watch out for that. They just do this because you tell them to add sound effects. They don't want to take the time to actually make proper sound design. So they just add something to, please you, when in reality it's just going to ruin the video more than it's going to help it. So watch out for bad sound design, incoherent sound effects that doesn't even make sense. Let's say there would be a car crash scene, but someone makes a sound effect about a, something in wood breaking or like a glass breaking. Like, it doesn't even make sense, right? So those are the things that you want to watch out for. Now, moving on, the coming part of the tutorial will be one of the most important, parts of this entire kind of masterclass. You need to really listen here, because thumbnails will make or break your content. Even if you have a very good video topic and a, super good niche, you want to also have a very good thumbnail and the title, because if people they might get recommended your video on the homepage, but they don't actively click it, then of course you're not gonna get any views, and the YouTube algorithm will deem your content as not good enough. So thumbnails are very important. And the number one rule when it comes to thumbnails, I've mentioned this many times throughout this tutorial, proven concept. You want to copy as much as possible. When it comes to all of your outliers that you put in the outlier sheet, you should have a bunch of more outliers here. Simply go through all of them and get a understanding of how people are making thumbnails in your niche, what kind of format they are using, because you are going to copy that exact format and potentially just add one little thing of your own. So you would take to just make this example very, very easily, since we want to go with a proven concept that we know works, we would take the video which is the richest black family in America, which is our reference video. We would just filter like this, and here we can see the thumbnail that they have. So they have a very coherent style of thumbnails for all of the family videos. You can see that it is the family, and then they have some yellow box with black text and a very big white text. So this is really how easy it is. You just see what works for other people. We can also take a look at the outlier sheet once again. This is the richest family in the Philippines. You can see that they have the exact same format here as well. So it is very proven to work, and that is why we are going to copy the format and make our thumbnail, make a thumbnail of our own that is very, very similar to this one. And if we just go back to the step-by-step plan here, for easy designs, you can use AI and just generate the thumbnail image. There are two options for AI generations when it comes to thumbnails. Either you can just play around with ChatGPT or Leonardo. I can even add this for your sake, Leonardo AI, and just generate the AI image. You might need to sit there and prompt for a while to get a good result. You can even use with ChatGPT, you can just take a screenshot of one of these, upload it, and tell ChatGPT that you want something very similar. Or you can use a tool called Pixels. I will also link this below, but it's basically a wrapper of ChatGPT, I think, that is specialized to create thumbnails. So instead of you having to sit and learn how to prompt and do all of this, you can, with Pixels, which is quite cheap, just get a tool that is already made for thumbnails. So all of these features, like recreating viral thumbnails, or adding faces to a thumbnail, faces of your own to a thumbnail that you think is very good, all of these features are already implemented, and they're better at doing this than ChatGPT. So, and those are different options. I'm not going to show how to use Pixels. It's something that you're going to have to experiment with on your own. I'm going to show how to use either ChatGPT or Leonardo, and also tweak it up with Canva to just add some text, because if you see here, they have an image right in the background, and then they've added this text. And since this is a very similar thumbnail, I am very confident that we can generate this AI image quite easily, and then just add the text in Canva. So that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do. So let's see how fast we actually can get this done. So as I mentioned, just take a screenshot of this one. I will do like this. Perfectly, boom. Right, so basically what you want to do when you are on ChatGPT, simply upload the image here, which would be this one, and then ask ChatGPT, like, write me a detailed prompt based on the attached image so that I can use it in an image generation app. And this way you will actually get a detailed prompt that should generate you something similar. ChatGPT is very strict when it comes to content policies. You can definitely get around it if you sit and prompt with it for a while, but this will save you the most time, since you'll get a prompt based on the image. Then you can just generate it, get something very similar, and do the last touches like the text and stuff in Canva. All right, I also added, I don't want to include any of the text or the timestamp in the image generation prompt. Make sure the prompt does not violate any of your content policies. This is just to make sure that we can actually get a valid prompt to be used, and we don't meet any of these issues. Because if you were to ask ChatGPT to just recreate this image, you will see that 10 out of 10 times it will say, oh, we cannot generate this image due to our content policies. Even how much you twist the words, like, you will eventually get around it, but it's gonna be quite a annoying process. So that's why just generating the prompt is a lot better. Great, so the prompt has now been generated. So I will copy the prompt here, open a new chat, and generate an image based on the prompt below. Boom. And we can also even try out to add like the reference in a more subtle way. I've also attached my inspiration to this image. If you can analyze that and factor it in the image generation, that'd be perfect. As you can see, this is the image that was generated. And take a close look at the details here. You'll see that there are two tigers, like the 4 kids, some kind of grandpa or whatever, and then this girl. And if we go back to the reference image, it is the exact same composition of people. The only difference here is that this one is slightly more color optimized, so they've got brighter colors that will work better on YouTube. This one is too monotone, but it will work. This was just to show you the image generation process. You could simply add to the prompt or like revise this prompt with a new generation to make sure that you would get a brighter image. So that's not really the biggest problem. But we would just download this, head over to the next tool that I mentioned there, Canva, for the very simple designs. So just create a new project here up in the top left corner. Make sure to choose the YouTube thumbnail format so that you'll get it in the right size, and simply upload your generated image here from ChatGPT like this. Perfect. All right, so in this case you can see that the like structure of the thumbnail was slightly off, because now if we would want to have the families higher up here, the grandpa would be cut out. So we need to regenerate the image once at least, because keep in mind we're gonna have text here, and if the family is like this, then the faces of all the people would be blocked, and that is not what we want. Right, we got the new image, and you can see that the grandpa and the girl here is still too tall, so I'm just gonna send another prompt. I'm gonna skip to when the image is generated so we can speed up this process a bit. Now, like AI overall, when writing scripts with AI, when generating thumbnails with AI, basically doing anything with AI, like nothing will be perfect in the first generation, and this is also where the skill to being able to prompt AI comes in. So when you're actually doing all of this, you will start understanding more and more what prompts generate the better outputs, and that will initially save you time as you proceed, because you will be learning what prompts are effective and what prompts gets you what you want and what works for your specific niche. So you won't be having to sit and re-prompt everything like I'm doing right here. It is simply in the start when you're getting used to what you need to tell ChatGPT in order to get you the result that you want in your specific niche. Alright, so these are the results that I got. You can see that I got pretty much the exact same image, so I just told it once again. You can pause the video here if you want to see the exact prompt that I used, but it's not anything special. But we got a slightly better image here, so let's see if this will work better in Canva. I'm gonna remove this one, upload the new one here. Would be this one. Right, you can see that it's also brighter if we just compare them up here. Add it to the frame, make it the correct size. Still ChatGPT gets it kinda off, which is not the best, but I think this will do for the example. Like preferably if you're doing this yourself, you would want to just fix this guy. It's the only problem left with the thumbnail itself. But let's just do it like this for now. Alright, and let's just take a look at the reference image, right? Which kind of looks like this. They have the text, this family is worth 2 trillion, and it's kind of a yellow box with a black text. That's going to be quite easy for us to do. So just head over to elements up in the top left corner, pick the box like this. We can just make it yellow here. Boom, add a new color. Let's highlight the yellow range like this and just make sure it's the right yellow. Probably something like this, right? Perfect. Make it whatever width we want. And the text, let's see what they had. They had this family is worth. So we just want to go with the proven concept and use the same. This family is worth. By the way, you add the text by pressing on the text icon up in the top left corner here. I'm not sure how well you can see this. We want the text to be black, right? So we will press the color button up here, make it black, make it larger. They had a specific font that looks kind of cool, so we'll try to find something similar. It's kind of a pretty tall font, almost a little bit bold as well. We can probably find something similar if we just take a look. Actually, let's probably go with this one. I like this one. So you can see you can choose between whatever font that you want. You preferably want something that is as similar to the reference as possible. Let's see how big they made it. Okay, they made it fairly small, like the yellow text. But when it comes to thumbnails, and this is also very good for you to know in order to succeed as much as possible with YouTube automation, you want to make the text as big as possible. The bigger the text and the more space you utilize, the more people will see it, right? So there's no point in having like a very little text in the corner just for the sake of having some text. Then, like if your text is not making any difference, then there's no point in having it. In this case, since our image was kind of bad with the grandpa being too tall here, we can't have the text too big since that would block the faces of the children. So you need to always keep in mind like the composition of everything, because you don't want to block any important elements of the thumbnail here, like the children here. We could even make this a little bit smaller, like the reference. It obviously works for them, so we can follow along something similar, like this. Let's take the text, make it slightly smaller, like this big maybe. Fit the box better, so it looks more professional. Probably do something like a little bit wider here, a little bit taller here, and then just like this. That looks pretty good. Let's see what the reference image did later on. $2 trillion in a very, very big white glowy text. So you would just add another text box like this, write 2 trillion, boom. They had put it like this, maybe even bigger, right? Yeah, slightly bigger than that. We might have to make the yellow text even a bit smaller. Place it a bit higher, like this. Slightly smaller. Center it in the middle. I'm also gonna speed run this so just so that we can get the, you guys can see how it's actually done. But that would be for the text. And this is also the reason why you can do very simple thumbnails in Canva, because this is not something that requires you to have any specific skill, right? You simply just go onto the Canva app and you add the stuff that you need, and then it's done. This one is quite good, the Anton font, because it's very like compressed, like originally, so it fits very well in the thumbnail. So we can actually go with that. It doesn't look too bad. Like this. Effects, you would then press on effects in order to add the glow. You'll find the neon here, and like out of a sudden you can see that we have the glow effect on the text. And now you can see, like in 5 or 10 minutes we managed to make the same thumbnail as our reference. Their thumbnail is slightly higher quality. It might be a thumbnail designer that actually has done it, but if you spend a little bit more time on tweaking this on your own, you can definitely make it look even better. You could also, this is also a very important thing for you to know. If you press on the background image and then press the edit button up here, you can press on adjust, and then here you can play around with the colors of the actual thumbnail. And when it comes to YouTube, you want to add as much like contrast and saturation as possible without making it look weird, because that will make the thumbnail look better. So we can add some saturation to it. Also some brightness. You can see it looks even more now like the reference image if we add the brightness to it, like this. Like the glow here is not the best, it's a bit too intense. Can we make this less, you think? See? Nope, we can't. It's a bit too intense. This would be something that you need a like Photoshop for to make it less strong. It's gonna be good for now. And then the last thing that they have is like a little blur or like shadow at the bottom of the thumbnail to make sure that the text pops even more. It's a very strategical move, but it's a very good thing. So we can look for that. Line shadow, write that in the elements tab, and we'll see what we find in the graphics tab, like this one. Seems to be quite what we're looking for, right? Make it even bigger. Could also make it slightly smaller like this. And there's basically like the you can see one thing here, like the yellow text and stuff, and the yellow box here in the background, it has actually been placed behind the shadow. So in order to get that to really pop and place it before the shadow, you simply press on the element like the text box, you press on position, and then bring it, actually you can bring the shadow backwards. That was going to be easier. So you press the shadow image, position, and then backward. You can see that the text immediately comes forward here. So it was the yellow box that we needed to put forward. This one is already at the front. And now, boom, like we have the image that has been completed, and we have the thumbnail for our first video. Simply share that, download it, make sure to have the settings in place. And perfect, like the thumbnail is done. That means that we can move on to the next step. Another thing that I want to mention here regarding thumbnails is that if you do not want to make this yourself and you just want to outsource it to someone, you know, you could pay $5 and you will get a better result than this made by some random graphic designer. It's very easy for them to create. So the way that you would find this kind of thumbnail artists is the exact same way as you found the editors. You simply go onto these editing communities like video editors. If you do make a paid request here through the same method we used before, you can actually just, instead of looking for a video editor, you're looking for a thumbnail designer, and you just add the same details, you'll get the same amount of outreach, and boom, you have a thumbnail designer. I'm not gonna, show you guys how to do this because it's literally the exact same steps as hiring a editor. It's super easy. Just make the request, it will be done. And that is all. But moving on with the tutorial itself, the next thing that you would need is a very, very strong title. And this is what almost everyone makes like very big mistakes within. If you have a bad title, still it can ruin your video. So YouTube is all about having this combination of good things, like the packaging is perfect. The packaging consists of the title and the thumbnail. Your topic needs to be very good. And then comes the script, editing, voiceover quality, all that kind of stuff. So video topic is the most important. Then comes your packaging, which means title and thumbnail. And then comes the actual video. So with the title, obviously, once again, we want to go with a proven concept. You want to copy your competitor by up to 90%. So you essentially take pretty much everything with the title of a video that went super well, but you rewrite it slightly to make it original for your channel. So in this case, let's just make an example here with our niche. We would take the title of our richest black family here.
Step into the world of these,
which is this is the richest black family on earth, right? How they made it. So we would just take that, paste that into our Google document here. Let's actually make this color as well. Maybe make it a bit smaller, like this. Perfect. And then we would want to write our own example. Let's say this is the richest black family in the world. And then we could change this last part and make that original. So this is the richest black family in the world, and let's say we could now we could actually take a look at the other uploads from this guy and see how he ends his other viral videos, if that might reveal anything that we can use. So he has one, his most viral video is simply, this is the richest family in the Philippines, nothing else. And this is the richest old money family in Canada, basically own Canada. This is the richest family in Canada. So I would say that in this case, instead of writing how they made it, or having that specific sentence, we simply change that for something like, or just this line really, since it's a very proven concept. We could also do something like taking inspiration from the Canadian titles, basically owns America. Like that would make a lot of people curious about the video. You can also make the same thing with basically owns Africa, because that might make people interested. Like how is this richest black family in the world so rich? And since most colored people originate from Africa, right? It would make sense that the richest black family comes or like owns big parts of Africa in some way. So that would like create a lot of curiosity, which is initially what you want to do with your thumbnail. If you do think about it, how people kind of process the thumbnail, they see the video in their home feed. They look at the thumbnail like, oh, what is this? It's a family. The family is worth 2 trillion. And then they look at the title. So, oh, this is the richest black family in the world, how they made it. So the thumbnail catches the attention. The title validates what they've just seen in the thumbnail, but also introduces them to the topic. Then they click the video, and the next thing that they see is the hook in your script. And that should also validate what they've seen in the thumbnail and the title. So it all has to do with each other. There's a lot more psychology that goes into this than you might think. It's gonna be a bit too long to dive deeper into this in this exact tutorial. I think we're up at over an hour. So if you would like a super niche video on the psychology behind the packaging and how to hook people in better, which will increase your views by a lot, simply let me know and I will create it. But yeah, we have some title examples here. I would probably go with basically owns Africa or just nothing, since these are the most proven concepts. It doesn't have to be harder than this. Definitely do not use ChatGPT to try and brainstorm new title formats. Do not try to reinvent the wheel. That will just hurt your channel more than it will benefit it. And it might actually be the reason why you won't be getting any views. So definitely not a good idea. A lot of beginners, they want to always invent something new and be original, but that will just slow you down. As you can see, I've written here beginner mistakes. Oh, I don't want to copy, I don't want to, take something from someone else, but this is how you win. You take a proven concept, you turn it into your own, and you make it better than your competitor. That is how you win. Also, trying to implement something new or invent something new. That's what I said with, using AI to brainstorm good title ideas or just going completely off track. Not good. Also, going super niche is a mistake that a lot of people make. So instead of writing, "This is the richest black family in the world," they would write, for example, the Winston family is the richest Afro-American family in the world. So instead of going super broad like this, appealing to a very broad audience on YouTube, like just straightforward, "This is the richest black family in the world," they would write like a specific family name that no one even knows of. They would be very specific with the ethnicity of the family itself. You could also like in the West. So instead of "in the world," which would bring a larger audience to your content, you would niche it down to people interested in the West. This is a common mistake that beginners might not realize that they're making, but it's definitely hurting your views. The way that you go ultra viral and get like 5 million views on a video is by making it as broad as possible. That is also why our competitor here has 2.4 million views on this video, because they just kept the title super, super broad, not leaving or not, making people assume things about the video, helping them niche it down. So it's just the richest family in the Philippines. That's all. Anyone who is interested in that specific topic, they will click on it, and they aren't like thrown off by a bunch of random words that doesn't really make sense or that they do not know of. And that is what you want to do. So keeping it broad, that is what you want to do. And that kind of has to do with what I wrote here. Now, I also explained the viewer logic a bit, that the thumbnail leads to the title leads to the click, and the click leads to the view. So let's go with this one as our title we will have for the video. And I actually remembered one very important tip for you guys here. You want to make sure that your title is below 60 characters in length. That is going to benefit you a lot in a way that you see that this is 46 characters. That is perfect. If you do have over 60 characters, when you go to like the home screen here, you can see that some titles might, let's see if anyone has made this mistake. Like this title, for example, if you saw this in the recommended videos to the right when you're browsing videos, the title would be folded and you wouldn't be able to see the entire title. So if you have over 60 characters, your title will fold and people won't, potentially might not see the entire message of your title. So if any word in the end of the thumbnail in the title would be super important, people wouldn't see that, and that can hurt the performance of your video. It is simply a small tip, but make sure to keep it in mind. And every time you finalize a title, just run it through the website here called Word Counter, and you will see how long it is. So always below 60 characters if possible. It's not the biggest deal if it's like 65 or 70, but be prepared that it might fold in the YouTube interface. But that would take us to the next step, and this is initially the last step when it comes to your channel and posting your first video. It is a very important step still. It can definitely make or break your video. I'm gonna go through everything that you have to do when posting your video to make sure that it gets the maximum amount of views, that you don't by mistake limit it with some kind of setting that you do the wrong way, that everything is just basically optimized for you to, set yourself up for success. So definitely don't skip this part. The first thing would just to make sure that your channel is obviously warmed up and ready. So you should have warmed up the channel for 1 or 2 weeks, as I talked about in the beginning of the video. You can scroll back to the shadow ban section if you want to know more about that. So once your channel is ready to go, the first thing that you want to do is prepare the files. So once you've downloaded the YouTube video, for example, that you are going to post from CapCut, it would be this one for me. Instead of just having the file name as 2025 15th of August, blah 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 blah, there's actually something called metadata that has to do with your file, and YouTube looks at this metadata when you post your video, so it can help you get pushed out into the algorithm easier if you do, approach it the right way. I would just duplicate the file first of all to make sure that it's fresh on your computer, not straight from CapCut, and then I would take the title of your video and simply use that as the file name. So you do that with the video itself. You also do the same with your thumbnail here. Let me just put it in the middle of the screen. You do the same with the thumbnail here. Just give it the name of the video itself. And now they are ready to be posted on YouTube. So that is file name done. And also extra sauce for you guys. If you do get shadow banned on any kind of channel and you want to re-upload videos, instead of doing it the beginner way where you just literally delete the video from your channel and re-upload it on a new one immediately, you need to private the video on the original channel. Do not delete it, just private it. And then we go back to the metadata step. So in order to make sure that YouTube does not recognize your new upload and index it as something that has already been uploaded on the platform before, you simply re-export the videos from your editing software. You make sure to give it a new name, of course the file name, make sure that the file is fresh. Also change some things in the script, change a few words in the hook and the intro and stuff, change a few words in the voiceover of course, add maybe a new filter with the editing, all that kind of stuff. This way YouTube will not be able to automatically recognize your video as completely identical to the previous one, and you still have the same chances of getting good views again. So that is very important. A very common mistake that a lot of people do, they just upload the same video and they get shadow banned again because YouTube sees that it's already been uploaded before and shadow banned. So some sauce for you guys, make sure to keep that in mind if you do get shadow banned. I just thought I'd include it for some extra value. But now this takes us onto the posting settings. So this is just a random channel. I would simply go to the YouTube studio in the top right corner, press on the upload videos button, select your files, in this case the MP4 for the video, like this, boom. You'll see that it uploads, you'll be taken to this kind of interface. And now we can start going through the list that I prepared for you guys. You can also just take a screenshot of this and use it for reference when you post your own video. We want to add the thumbnail, so go back to the channel, upload the file. In this case we would want to verify our phone number. This is what you need to do in order to add custom thumbnails. So you simply press on verify, you will be taken to this here, enter your number, your country, all that stuff. You'll be texted the verification code, so I will just do that and get back to you in just a second here. Perfect, you can now see that I verified my phone number with the channel. I can go back to the previous scene here, and if you do not have enough phone numbers for verification, since you can only verify 2 per year, there are ways to make it work either way. However, I'm not gonna disclose that on YouTube here. You would have to let me know that you want to see something like that, and it's probably gonna go out in my community. So but yeah, you would now have verified your phone number. You can add the thumbnail image like this. You can see that it gets applied here. The next step in the list would be to select that it's not for kids, very important, which would be here. No, it's not made for kids. Also, if you have a playlist or don't have one, you should definitely create one, because since we talked about before that YouTube wants to keep the viewer on the platform for as long as possible, a very good way to do that is by creating series or very similar content. So if I make multiple videos about the richest family in, or the richest white family, the richest Asian family, the richest whatever family, I put them all in the same playlist and call it like the richest families. That way, if my viewer really enjoys the content, they will simply watch more of my videos, increasing the amount of views that I get. I can go from 1 view to getting 4 views per person. That will also make YouTube prioritize my channel more, since I'm keeping viewers very engaged. So it's all just a big plus. More precise strategy with playlists I can get into in another upload, but let's stick to the plan here. So no, it's not made for kids. The next thing to check is to make sure that the comments are turned on. Scroll down to the bottom. Moderation is by default put on basic, but just put it to none. Make sure that comments here are on, and sort by top. That works. The next step in our plan would be don't touch the AI content setting. And this is very important because otherwise you can ruin your video's performance completely. You can see that there is a setting here that says altered content. And almost everyone thinks that you should press yes here if you have used AI to create your video, but that is not the case. The only time that you should actually press yes or no here is if you are like making an AI generated video of Donald Trump saying some stuff that is not true. You're making up fake facts or making it seem like a person is saying something that they in reality haven't. That is when you should press yes or no. But I never touched this setting at all. It will only add a negative effect to your video. So definitely do not do it. The next step would be top 3 lines of description, and in this you want to recite the video title / topic and weave in main keywords. Now the reason to why you should do this is very, very simple. The top 3 lines of your description are super, super powerful when it comes to YouTube. If you want to have any call to action, you should place it in the top 3 lines. If you want to have any, whatever, you should place it in the top 3 lines. They also rank very high when it comes to SEO. So if you handle the top 3 lines of the description correctly, your video can rank a lot higher when people search for the richest families in the world. For example, if we just go to this one video by our competitor, these are the top 3 lines of the description. So he has done, I don't know what he has done or why he has done it, but he is not utilizing the top 3 lines of the description the right way. So what we want to do, as I've written here, is have recite the video title / topic and weave in the main keywords. We can start with the video title and the topic. So we would just take inspiration from this and write something like this is, we can basically just write the title. This is the richest black family in the world. Here's how they made it. And then for the second line, since we still have 2 lines left of the description, we could use this to fit in either a CTA if we want people to buy something, or we can use this to, add keywords in relation to our niche. So vidIQ, as I mentioned, is a very good software. I will put it in the link in the description here. There's essentially only one feature that you will need, and it is free, but you would just head over to the vidIQ website, so I'll do so. When you're at the home screen like this, you can see that there is a Discover tab in the top left corner. Simply press on keywords here, and now you will be taken to the keyword section where you can actually analyze the search volume of different keywords. You can see here the keyword AI has 6.5 million searches in, I think it is the last 28 days or something like that. So you can simply add your title to begin with. This is the richest black family in the world. You see that it has a very low search volume, but we want to figure out what the main keywords is. So old money here, you can see we immediately got recommended a related keyword. Old money has 315,000 searches. Black luxury. Luxury also has a lot of searches. So we can start going into these routes like richest family. Let's see. 1.1K. Luxury lifestyle has a lot. Let's see what we more have. Nothing too interesting. We can go back and look for old money. That had a very high search volume. Competition is high, which is fine. Old money family. Let's see what that has. Not that high search volume. Wealthy families. Also another keyword that is recommended. Billionaires. Also recommend 43,000 searches. So we can immediately see here what keywords are being searched more than others. We so far have old money, billionaires. What else do we have? I don't think we have too much else. Luxury was one. Rich is one. Rich family, 4.4K. Let's see here. black family, maybe just for the sake of researching. Not too much there either. So based on what we've just looked up so far, just 2 minutes of research, we know that luxury, old money, and billionaires are attractive keywords that people are searching for. So we can include, like, instead of here's how they made it, here's how they became billionaires. Boom. Watch how this old money family is literally owning Africa, whatever. You can see now that we have included old money, which is one of our keywords. We have included billionaires, which is one of our other keywords, and then just the title of the video. This is a good top of line description. It will not make your video go viral, but why would you not maximize the chances of getting as many views and ranking as high as possible, right? So this is what you want to do. If you have a offer, a product that you want to sell, you would obviously include that instead of one of the sentences here, like, go check out my, learn more about these families, and there's a link to an ebook store. I don't know. So that is how you would want to utilize those. And that is basically it when it comes to the posting settings on the first page here, like the details. There's nothing else that you should play around with. Some people will tell you to add a bunch of tags here. I generally do not do it for new channels because I want to leave it to YouTube in order to find my audience and actually make my videos push. There's no reason in adding tags here. They won't really make a big difference. It's actually better to just let YouTube do all of the heavy lifting. The algorithm is so complex, so it will find your audience eventually, and that's going to be better off than you trying to direct it in a way when you don't even know yourself in what direction you want to go, right? So don't add any tags. Language selection, I don't pick any of these. I don't play around with any of these as well. The category you can actually set to people and blogs. That's just what most people use. There's no real reason behind it. But that will work well. That means we can move on to the next tab, which is video elements. Here you can add an end screen and add cards. This is only relevant when you have multiple videos uploaded, but end screens are very important. It is what you see at the end of the video when you get like recommended another video or told to subscribe. That is the end screen. So you can add one like this. You can even make your own, but usually I just have the video and the subscribe button like this. Make it as big as possible, place it here in the middle. Same with the subscribe one, place it here in the middle. And you choose instead of best for viewer, always do most recent upload. Because when you post a new video, all of your previous videos will start recommending the new upload and it will get a push that way. So it is a very good thing to do. Also, you can see here that they have made the maximum duration for the end screen, which is like 20 seconds. Instead, you want to drag that and make that only 5 seconds in the end. That's going to be best for you. Like this. Boom. And then just hit save and you are good to go. Cards, it's basically the same as the end screen, except you can add them throughout the entire video. So you can add a specific video that you might have uploaded or a playlist. Let's say we would have our playlist here called favorites or the richest families. We can add it somewhere towards the end and then add a custom message like watch more rich families like this. Add it to the teaser text as well. And you can see that if we just zoom in here, in the top right corner of the video, they will see watch more rich families. And if they press this, they get taken to the playlist and can watch more of your videos. So that's a very good thing too. I do this for all of my uploads. Same with the end screen. It's very strategical. And a thing that almost no guru will tell you is that if you include a video here with the cards, like a video here, and you choose your specific video like this, then what will happen if we just go over to the, for example, How to AI channel here? What will happen in your description will look like this. You will see that in the bottom, there's a bunch of links here and videos being recommended in a very, they're being recommended very, largely, or I'm not sure what the word is, efficiently. And that is because I've added the card recommending this video throughout my video up there. So it's a little like a secret life hack in order to get people to watch your other videos as well, because they get put down here. Definitely something you can implement, because why not? Once again, we want to maximize our chances of getting views. And that is all for the card. Save that. Perfect. And now you are good to go. Like the last thing would just be to post the video. Doesn't really matter if you schedule it or not. If you do schedule it for 30 minutes or more in advance to it being posted, all of your subscribers will be notified with a push notification on their phone and stuff, meaning that they will see that you're uploading your next video. Very good if you have a loyal fan base that really enjoys watching your content. But in the beginning, it will not make any difference. So just publish it immediately by doing like this. Boom, publish. So if you followed the tutorial, this far, you should have posted your first video soon. And there are things that you have to know. I'm just saying this for the goodwill of you guys watching. There are 4 things that will, make a very big difference to your YouTube journey. And first of all, being that speed matters a lot. And the reason why it does matter is because what I've seen between the differences that I've seen between my students that make $20,000 in their first 45 days and the students that don't really get anywhere is that are very, very successful students. They are very quick to execute. They don't sit and overthink every single step, trying to make everything perfect. They have more kind of the approach that I've had in this video. They try to learn the process as fast as possible, create the content a little bit better, of course, than I've done here, since I really speedrun it. But then they get it out as fast as possible. They don't sit and review every single word of the script, review every single microsecond of the editing. They simply find something that is above average good, post it as fast as possible, and then move on to the next video. That is how they get results very fast, because YouTube is a game of data. The more data you get, the better things that you can create. And the way that you get this data is by publishing videos. If you don't publish any video, there's nothing for you to look at to improve. You don't know what needs to improve or why you aren't performing well. But if you post a bunch of videos, you will have all of this data right in front of you. And then in combination with, having a coach or whatever person that knows this stuff, you will be able to improve so fast. Now, the second thing is that consistency is really key. It has to do with the same thing why speed matters. If you do not stay consistent, first of all, the YouTube algorithm won't favor you. But second of all, you will never have a consistent stream of data coming in that you can iterate on. So if you post, every single day or every other day, like your competitors, YouTube will first of all see that you are a person that is trying to really get into this. They see that you post all the time. You're putting a lot of effort into this, which is a very good thing. But you will also get data all the time. And even if your competitors are missing a few uploads, kind of slacking, since you are consistent, you will be starting to, rush past them. So it's like a thing that all, online people say, like, oh, you need to be consistent. But with YouTube and YouTube automation, like, it really makes a lot of sense. Because if you aren't consistent and make like creating the content a normal thing to you, you will never be able to outcompete your competitors and actually get anywhere. Now, the next thing coming up is just kind of to give you guys some even more sauce. And I've mentioned this throughout the tutorial as well. Like, long uploads is the meta. Long uploads is what performs super well right now when I've talked to a bunch of guys in the YouTube automation space and my own channels as well. So by beginning to post longer videos, 1 hour in length plus, you will get a much higher RPM. Like, you can 5 times your regular RPM by just making very long content. And not to mention that YouTube will actually prioritize your content due to the things that I've said earlier on in this video. With AI, and if you create the right AI systems, even automated systems, you can post 2 1-hour videos per day, and that will just, blow your channel off the charts. That is what I've seen happen with my students. So I know that this indeed works. I've seen it with my own channels, and I've talked with a bunch of reputable sources in this space as well. So like, long uploads, that is what you want to do if you want to win. Now, the fourth thing is basically just to make sure you are going into this with the right mindset. Your first channel will likely fail. It was the same for me and all of the other guys in the space. My first channel failed. My second channel failed. Then my third channel blew up, and I made and it has taken me on this journey to make millions of dollars, right? So it's very worth the first failures if you're then able to acquire the skill of creating content, making these faceless systems, and then actually getting your first channel up and running. Because YouTube is a very exponential game. It will be very slow in the start, barely seeing any results, but boom, once your channel gets monetized within however long time that might be, it will take off and you can earn, $15,000 in just 2 or 3 weeks. It's not unobtainable. It is actually very realistic, but it all has to do with you staying consistent in the start. And even though you're not getting any results, you continue pushing up uploads and learning more about the game. So going into this game with the right mindset is almost more crucial than anything else. Now that leads us on to my offer to you watching this far. I told you in the beginning of the video that I would offer you something. It has to do with everything that I've even taught you throughout this entire walkthrough. So make sure to listen if you really want to take YouTube automation seriously and try to amplify the results that you get as fast as possible. So I run a mentorship program where we teach people how to go from having 0 YouTube experience or business experience overall to someone who is running a YouTube channel that is earning anywhere from 5 to 20K per month. I've done this for a very long time, so I've seen the results that completely unexperienced people can get if they are willing to put in the work and actually want to accept being mentored by someone. Now, don't get me wrong, like with everything that I've shown you in this video, you can make it on your own. I wanted to make this video as valuable as possible so that, regardless if you would like our help or not, you can make it if you just put in the work. So it's definitely possible for you to do it on your own. But just transparently, what I've seen in the online business space, I actually buy coaching myself from other business owners on how to grow my business. So I know, and I've seen this many times, that this is how you amplify your progress and actually reach your goals as fast as possible. So I'll just give you a quick look inside of the community that I run. You can see that people here are just engaging with the coaches and stuff. If I would head over to the wins section that we do have, literally just yesterday, Matthias here posted that literally anything is possible when you find the right niche, create systems, and execute relentlessly, never give up. And if we take a look at the screenshot here, he's made, what is this, $19,700 just from YouTube ad revenue. So that is actually crazy. Also, Don Biggie Don here, yesterday at 2:26 p.m., 2.1K. He's at the start of his journey. Very interesting to see. So I possibly cannot make this up. Our members are getting really good results. And this is just a small part of what the whole program, consists of. You will also get access to a private, one-on-one access to me and my coaches so that you can have private calls, get whatever advice that you need at any time. You will get a full YouTube automation course. I hate the word course and the kind of idea of courses, but in order to provide all of our members with the entry-level information, we have to do it in an efficient way, and that is why there has to be a course. I literally just want to spread the message that anything is possible. What we teach in the program is exactly the kind of blueprint that I use to create a channel that has generated me over $1.6 million with a single store, over $100,000 with How to AI, and countless other faceless channels at 21 years old. I started when I was 18 or 19 in high school. I also worked full-time as a IT technician. So trust me, I've been in a situation where I spend almost all my days in an office, but still I started my channel at the same time. I know how much time you have to invest to make this work. It's not as much as everyone thinks. You don't have to spend 9 hours a day on your online business to make it work. You can simply spend 1, 2, or 3 hours per day and still get results like this. Now, once again, I'm not telling you that you need this program to succeed. It is simply to amplify results and, succeed potentially 10 times faster. If you are interested in something like this, I have a bunch of video testimonials and results from students that you can check out. Here's Matthias's journey, for example, when he touched 15K in just 45 days at 21 years old. You can watch that entire interview. You can watch an interview with Arturo, who's made over $27,000 in a single month. Reed, who went from $0 to $6,000 in 45 days. All of these interviews are publicly available on this YouTube channel and on the internet. I'll put the link to them in the description so you can do your own research, check them out for yourself. I'm not really begging anyone to apply for the program since we have very limited spots and a lot of demand for people applying. But definitely shoot your shot if you are interested. And if we do find your application interesting and we see that you are someone that genuinely wants to do this, we'll take you on a quick interview, see where your head's at, and decide if it's a good fit to move forward or not. But yeah, that is all for this video. If you have any questions whatsoever for me, just leave them in the comment. If you want to see any kind of YouTube tutorial about YouTube automation and faceless YouTube, simply leave a comment of what you want to see. I'm using all of the comments that I see as suggestions for what I should create content about, so it's very good information for me. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.